Shalom and good day. All. This is the Helium 29 back again. And in today's live stream, we are going to be covering the top 5 riders who have played a part in ruining the Super Suns. Now, before I get started, I would like to introduce you to someone who's a quite regular to the live stream, and that is Tevier Smoker. And we And we have another guest with us, and they have their own YouTube channel to which they've also covered their own stuff in relation to the Super Sons as well. And we'd like to welcome to the live stream
I posted
Wannabe
one
Rider.
video. Wannabe Rider. Thank you.
Yeah.
I posted one video years ago. Just to see if I could get a video essay out there. I wouldn't call myself a streamer like you. Then again, who can say when it comes to social media, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
so you're done, miss.
Yep, it's really nice to have you here, and I hope you enjoy your time in the live stream. And who knows, maybe you might want to join us in another future live stream.
Yep.
Because after this, covering the top 5 riders, I'm definitely interested in doing another one, which links down to, say, maybe the top 5 creators who have worked on the Super Sons.
And actually help them out to survive.
So, no doubt we can easily guess who will be sort of like our top number ones, but with the other ones, it's not going to be in any particular order. But with this one, we do have a bit of a particular order. And
you do. All right.
Yeah. So to start off, who would we have for our runners up? So these are the runners up leading into the top 5. So who, like, for our runners up, who would you name in yours? So I'll let the guests go first because they have been invited to the channel.
Thanks. Well, I don't have.
Actually, you go first.
I was actually going to hope you would go because because I don't know. I don't always remember her names perfectly, so I was going to just bounce off of you guys.
I only have one runner up in the order and go my memory here. So the one you're gonna like being in the top of my head is the one who was terrible T9 brother destroyed out of a crap. Jesus Christ! It wasn't on the T9 Academy. No, John not in that. Okay, he wasn't in that book, but I can't wish that guy in the under because he didn't write John in that book.
Do you remember what he wrote or one thing that he wrote?
Yeah.
It wasn't him. It was the other one. Oh yeah, I remember. It was Robbie Thompson.
Yeah, so Robbie Thompson is in your top, not your top 5, but in your runners up leading into the top 5.
He wasn't in the top 5, but it was one issue when I see one issue. Infuriating. Your Teen Titan, after Adam Glass.
All right. What about you, Omari?
The same one wrote the terrible Teen Titans book.
So wait, Robbie Thompson wrote a Teen Titans story for you?
Not exactly.
He
will be at the
Robbie Thompson wrote some stuff after the Justice League No Justice event.
With Adam Glass.
Yeah, with Adam Glass. So.
Fuck
look him up.
Battery.
So. Comics.
Would we want to get up a picture of Robbie Thompson?
Yeah. Hang on, I'll try to find out that issue.
I probably wouldn't recognize him from Ether, but I definitely from Adam. But I see what he's written.
I forget what year.
Would have been the 2016 run of
Found it.
Okay.
Hang on, I'll screenshot.
All right.
Yeah, it's 46.
Yep.
Oh,
This
that
book
thing.
fucking sucked. Jesus Christ. This
Well, in all
book
fairness,
drove me insane. Because
oh yeah, that
what
one.
the fuck did I got in my boy John?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, issue 43 and issue 46.
Yep. But
Both books are horrible.
Oh,
these are the runners up leading into the top 5. So
Yeah. Yeah. Issue 43 John Juma doing shit with bullshit, which fuck that. That made no fucking sense. And then John made the abandon him.
yes.
What? Why? And then you go out of KDB try to kill him. Well, they were trying to kill KDB.
honestly, I don't even think I ever had to read this part. But the thing is, it was funny. At this point in time, he was being written by Bendis, and what I
He
found is
was.
that whenever somebody wrote him who wasn't Bendis, it sounded slightly better. He were being slightly.
Not
What was the
good.
context? Wait. Oh yeah, I remember this. I actually did think this wasn't so terrible, simply because this one interaction, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just Bendis who's not good at, who doesn't get the character.
Yeah, I find out
Well, that was
not for
a
it.
couple years ago, granted, but still.
Yeah.
True, but yeah, the
Yeah.
thing though, about it.
What's the context here again? He's coming in back. What's the context here again? He's coming. He's just randomly coming back from the future because
Yeah,
that status quo was kind of stupid anyway.
I'm worried about you, and there is a quote. You should consider you with the 30% now, she would not me. I time of both. What about your future?
Yeah.
And I'm focused on you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
What you are limited glimpses. What?
In all fairness, that whole weird era with the Rock from Teen Titans, it was kind of weird that for Damian, he suddenly randomly became. He kind of retreated back to his old bad habits, I guess, and kind of
Yeah.
had a few things. But in all fairness, though, the status quo he had at that point was pretty crazy. In fact, I should probably point this out.
Yeah.
Oh, and something I should say before this: in the world of social media, there's a million opinions, a million ways, and it literally puts us into bubbles. You can never tell exactly what the general popular idea is or what the context is. And also, as for the writers, we don't know any of them from Adam. I couldn't pick up half. I couldn't pick any of them out of lineup, except for Bendis because I had to make that video about him. But still,
Yeah,
I've heard though that they're both pretty great people in person, which explains a lot. Actually,
Yeah. I'm never gonna get them as people. They're probably nice
Yeah.
guy. I do want to talk to them some in the video. Maybe if I do talk to them and interview them. And I'll probably tell them calmly as best I can. And I'll probably ask him why you ate up John. Not the one put out. But
Well-
I'll probably ask Korea first, then go to the heavy quitting.
Yeah.
But
Thanks.
this book was horrible. But well, issue 40 was not issue 40 even bad, but issue 46? Yeah, this pissed me off. What?
What exactly happened in this one?
Sure, John goes after me after dinner. He's like, where's my best friend? And issue 40, I think issue 45. Yeah, issue 45.
Okay.
And then
this
Tom
is
Cruise-
leading to, I think, what was it, almost the end of the
yeah, I'm at the end.
of the run.
And then John did abandon his best friend because you get the letter. And what did the
And
letter
we
say?
never actually found out what was written in the letter
Yeah. Wait,
as well.
hang on.
I
And-
take it that they wanted him around. I guess if I have to make a guess, because I didn't see the issue, but if I had to make a guess, that they would use him. Just fake. They have the character around, and it's nice, I guess, when they remember that the characters are friends, and it's better than some of the stuff they're doing trying for now.
Yeah.
So weird though.
Yeah,
it is a weird
bullshit.
status quo though.
Yep.
Also,
he said,
the
I
costume
know
he had
it's
right
the
in this
name-
era was just
I'll
dreadful.
get him down. He's only 10 steps ahead of us. And oh yeah, the other the issue 45 said Red Robin, and he's pissed off.
Oh,
then
yeah.
again. What?
The thing that baffled me about this part, I guess, was just that. Oh, 1 second.
All right. There it is. Yeah. And when Peter John said, and I quote, I'm done now, I'll take it to, and you also, wait, did Damien never say? Well, I shall know all along, what we shall know all along, we're not by Damien. And then he leaves. Are you
Sorry.
fucking kidding me? This is bullshit. This is crap. There's no way you're talking about best friend. This It's stupid. Fuck.
Yeah,
This drove me to the edge.
it
This
was.
pissed me
Well,
off.
fairness.
Yeah,
Well,
it,
yeah, well, in fairness, most of the things that they did with him at this point were pretty, yeah, I guess, and we're pretty lousy. Particularly trying to make, also, but honestly, whenever they try to make a Superman character so aggressive, it just doesn't really work.
Yeah, this made me mad. This pissed me off so much that I went on this. It drove me crazy.
I guess whatever they wrote wasn't very pleasant. So
Yeah, it was horrible.
what's another one?
I'm not gonna make a think of.
What's number 5? This is just the runner up.
well,
I,
if
I,
runners
I
up, you
one
can
more-
have more than one runner up.
Yeah, I have one more runner up I can think of.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm probably gonna steal out the from EKM. Sorry for this, but
Yep. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not
Yeah.
worried.
I'll probably go with a pigeon. Here's the thing. The outdoor story.
No, this one was so
Oh, my
bizarre.
outdoor story. Yeah. But at a Super Son book, it didn't make any sense. It's
The
confusing.
irony of the series is that it's not John. It seems, at least to me, seems pretty in character. It's Damian
Yeah,
who's
it
kind
does.
of out. But in all fairness, this is a completely original version where they're just like,
Yeah.
they
They
got
got
rid of
the
this
one
awesome.
that I'm just confused about. They made Ian Wayne.
And, like,
Why?
I guess, and you know what? It is kind of fitting though because he is very different. Damian Wayne is kind of defined by being raised. He's raised by the League. He's not Batman's kid. I mean, he was
Yeah.
raised by the League. He's from somewhere else. In this version, though, he is seemingly just Batman's rich son, but he also knows stuff. It was a weird continuity, but you know, well,
Yeah.
at least it was one. It was separate, and two, I can't tell you if it. Well, the fact that it's gotten multiple series says at least someone was reading it, but it was
Yeah,
so
we got, like,
bizarre.
3 books.
They did it was more, but honestly, John seemed pretty in character though.
John was fine. I enjoyed John getting the story. He had to worry about the end of
And
the
I
book.
couldn't-
Volume 1 was fine. 2 was confusing. But Volume 3, I think it went all fell apart. I don't know. If I do give the book a chance, maybe if I review it on Giant Adventure with God, I'm like, that's the book I plan to review off my channel. I got a chance to I'm so good up books. But it wasn't a train wreck. It wasn't horrible. It was just mediocre at best.
Yeah.
All right, then. You might as well keep that one up there because
Okay.
for my runner-up, or for one of the first runners-up, leading into the top 5, is in fact Ridley Pearson. And I didn't quite enjoy what was delivered story-wise. One thing that they should have been more clearer on in relation to leading into this story. Yeah, we understand it's all fictional and that, but it never really let the reader know that this was actually a part of the DC Elseworld storytelling.
True.
That is my only criticism with this run.
Well, honestly, I think it was. I figured out pretty quickly because one,
Yeah.
and they made it very clear that this wasn't the Damian you
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah, I did it. This is
Two, also, if I do recall correctly, Superman was like left for a spaceship thing to do something on Mars.
Yeah.
And the fact that he couldn't fly himself there was probably like, okay. And the thing is, when you do Elseworld stories, you got to pick and choose what you're gonna get pissy about. But also, like, what's
Oh yeah, this. I forgot with that panel.
yeah, that was just so bizarre. I think that was the big thing that pissed off that that kind of is the reason a lot of people, I guess, kind of forgot about this run because it was like,
Yeah.
huh?
I completely forgot that
People
happened.
often just make Damian a brat, and like that's part of his personality, but not even that much. Like people have stated that one of the things they liked about the Tomasi stuff is because like they make Damian like more.
Yeah,
of
the
a
Super
brat,
John, I
less
mean,
mean.
the Super John is great. That part right. Then we went down that way now for the part. Yeah.
One thing a lot of writers that we've found do in relation to the Super Sons, especially Damien, he's been
Yeah.
copying a lot of flack just because of how writers continue to write him. And it's like they throw the character into a complete regression when there's absolutely no need for it at all, or they provide a situation which leads the character into the regression, Some people forgetting that it's actually a catalyst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do admit with Ridley Pearson, yeah, at least he did show some smarts and intellect with the character, and a little bit with John too.
Yeah.
As for
I
the
admit, but
additional
my dad was
cast of
great.
characters,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
they could easily be forgettable.
Agreed.
I'm guessing that's.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that was like a little
she
cousin of
confused
Vic.
me.
Bad
I know
idea.
who this was.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea to give if a female addition. Like I'm guessing she's the little cousin of Vixen, and that's not a bad idea.
Yes, yes.
Because like it's the Trinity. You want a Trinity, and like you don't have to create Wonder Boy or de-age Cassie Sandsmark to get it. You can just let's make well one up. That's not a bad idea. But maybe that story could have been. It's actually not a bad costume for John.
Yeah,
at least.
the young guy.
I don't know.
Well, it's weird.
Well, they could have done with Damien at least. Like they were trying to make it separate, but hey, how about it looks like a Robin costume? Because otherwise, that's something that a lot of people have. Where if you just essentially make a new character, just make a new character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Or though, if you're going to completely change how the character operates, and you kind of did, and like because the one thing people like about Damian Wayne is that, like, despite his blustering, he can back it up. He has an ego the size of the moon, but he also has the skills to back it up.
Yes.
And in this one, I don't know if he had all of that, or at least not really sure. Again, I couldn't get through it, so all I know, he turned into the kid we all like in the end.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I read book 3. I read book 1. It was whatever. Book 2 was better, but
Here's probably why.
Book 3. Check it out.
I'm looking at him as a writer. He mostly seems to do a lot of sword and sorcery stuff and some pretty cool looking in books, but I do mean books. So sometimes the transition from two genres can be jarring for some
graphic novel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tilly. I forgot what that kid is. Who's she again? Yeah, I forget.
All right, then I'll bring in my next runner-up.
Runner-ups. I didn't think there were so many.
Yeah. Okay, and my next one is James Tynion IV. Don't get me wrong; he can be a fantastic writer.
Yeah.
And he can deliver some even great scenes with Damian Wayne.
He just had to go on with the media. Instead of going to say Tim Drake.
Yeah.
But then make it Monkey Man and short Tim Drake again.
Oh yeah, Justice League No Justice. That was
League No Justice. This was the catalyst of
after Death Metal, right?
After Death Metal.
No, not Death Metal.
After Metal. Yeah, that's right, After Metal. And when this
the
came
only thing I remember. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. When this came in, I liked one of the ideas that this artist or what they did with this, and we got to see some of the characters in teams, and I liked that Damien.
I like a group, but a bunch of teams. But here's the thing: this book came and went like a case of squirts. The only thing I really remember about it was that it was
teams.
And this story came and went real fast. The only thing I remember about it was that, like, hey, Wonder Woman really got tied into it, the whole magical thing in this one.
Which led into Dark. Which led
into Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
But the Teen Titans, they got butchered to hell.
Yeah, this wasn't very good in this one. I couldn't tell you much about. I don't really remember what Beast Boy and Raven did in this one, but I do.
I forget what they did.
It's weird though that they picked, like, it was supposed to be like for the intelligence section. I'm like, why didn't you just put Tim in that for Young Justice since you're going to do that? Because if memory serves correct, I don't think that. Because sometimes when people write Damien and Tim, and like they have different sounding voices, I couldn't tell you what Tim Drake's personality is, but I know what Damien doesn't sound like. And well, Tim is the smart one, so like just use him instead. And they often don't do that.
It's confusing.
He's intelligent. Yeah, this wouldn't be the only time actually where you would see that happen. But yeah, it was. What do you guys think about this story? Because I can't really remember it honestly.
Well,
I
this
think the
is
story was good. It's just the aftermath wouldn't have any ball part. The only good thing about the Judge Evil Scott Steiner with a maiden book, and Judge Be Dark, and that's it. Tonight got fucked over. Titans, actually,
yeah.
Titans
This was literally the fuck over event for a number of the characters, and that included Damian Wayne, and that's why I bring it in only as the catalyst as to what it led into next.
Yeah.
Like I said, James Tynion can give some really incredible stories, even with Damian Wayne. In fact, I remember one in Batman and Robin Eternal, and it actually led to one of my favorite little scenes in that storyline, and it's got to do with a scene.
He wrote that, right?
In that
He wrote
storyline,
that original, right?
Yeah.
Well, him and Scott Snyder, because the Batman Eternal, then Batman Robin.
That's a pretty great story, honestly.
And yeah, one thing I really enjoyed in that is that there was a scene between Damian and Bruce, and you do get his interaction with his brothers, but there's like a scene where he brings up to his brothers, because at the time Bruce Wayne isn't around, and they're dealing with a threat at the time, and they're not too sure how to go about it.
Mother, who who Cassandra Cain.
Yeah,
kind of, sort of.
And in that, all right, in this particular one, in relation to Batman and Robin Eternal, Damian shares an interaction with his father, to which in the interaction with his father, right, you get to see him talk, and they showed a flashback, and you see Damian sort of like throwing over things like in relation to his other siblings. Like one he calls the Acolyte, one he calls something else. And then Bruce responds,
that's fitting for him. He
No.
rarely calls them by he rarely calls them by their names oftentimes, and like when he finally does do that, it's kind of like, oh, this is a real moment. Thank you.
Yeah. But when we move into that particular one story, Bruce gets to him on his level and explains, I'm not building you up to be soldiers.
Yeah,
you're my son.
That's actually something the current writer of Batman totally got right.
If you look at Damian's background and that response to Damian, right, it makes a lot of sense to him, but he also explains that each one has a different method of how they approach things.
Yep.
And he explains with Damian that he can be very forthgoing, so he's very preemptive. So in that kind of essence, he can be very much similar to Batman.
Yep.
And Bruce Wayne sees that. Very preemptive, that he wants to stop the crime before it even happens.
Yeah. I love the Bat family so much.
Yeah.
Same. And I'm pissed that the Terminator got destroyed because BS. What the hell?
Huh?
Why does Batman and get destroyed by crap?
So in that particular story in the Batman and Robin Eternal, you know what they decide to do? They decide to use Damian's method of taking out the threat. And it's sort of like, oh, talk about a way to honor the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. If I recall correctly, she died randomly, right?
Yeah, Mother got killed off by David King because against Father.
Yeah.
Even though he got stabbed, and then somehow survived, and then crawled to the volcano.
Yeah.
It's about
now it's a comic book.
What? And then he died. God, Batman Robin Eternal was confusing. That night, to be fair, during the time DCU. It
All
didn't
right.
help.
That's not, honestly, you could turn that Batman and Robin Eternal into a decent Bat-family movie. You just have Batman is
Yeah.
gone. You just have him. You just have the four of them trying to solve this one character who he struggled with. It's a perfect introduction to who they are.
Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, another beautiful thing about the Batman and Robin Eternal is that you also get to see something that Cassandra Cain, in a way, come to love.
Yeah.
And in one of the things that actually happens in the story is that you get to see Cassandra Cain, in a way, falling in love with like type of ballet dancing. And that was amazing in the story. Like that stood out for her character.
That was my real first introduction to hers, and I think it was pretty good. I know her special place in the Bat family is that she's one of the few. She's easily the only daughter who's adopted by the Bat family and has a place there.
Yeah.
I
miss Cassandra Cain.
Were lost in the New 52. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, she's also in pre Flashpoint and Soul Series. She's amazing. Right, and Young Justice, she's also awesome in that show. I love Cassandra Cain. Yeah. I love Phantoms. Still waiting for season 5. Hopefully, qualifying that way at the non-emergent. Well, then again, speaking of W Discovery, I did a video about it. W Discovery gets sold off again to be Comcast. Comcast may buy up W Discovery. So wait, there's a W got sold up to AT&T, who know what they're fucking doing, but then they got sold up again to Discovery. Now they're sold again to Comcast. What? Like, I hate corporate media. I don't like telling this shit. I'm not.
Well, if we're going to talk about Warner Brothers wildness, we can be here for days.
Yeah,
to get back on track. James Tynion is a pretty decent writer, but Justice League No Justice was a bit of a hit or miss. Came and went like a case of the squirts.
Yeah,
and you can't really remember.
Yeah.
All right. So with Justice League No Justice, we had an event which Damien saw. Like the destruction of a planet, and it was used as a catalyst to change and regress his behavior. And
it was cool. Okay, Brainiac's home planet, it got blown up.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. And this was after Brainiac's son, Brainiac 2, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah, I believe it was Brainiac 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's son of Brainiac.
So, are we now ready to go into our?
I found him. Hang on.
Yep. Let's do the top. Let's do the top 5 list.
Well, hang on. I want to screen share.
All right.
Ta-da.
Yep.
Yep. Brainiac 2.
Oh yeah.
He also helped.
But we've not seen anything for years. Wait.
Yeah, he also helped them escape off the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, it's a weird thing that happens.
Yeah,
they don't use that often. When they do, they make them really confusing, I guess.
Yep.
But the Brainiac 2 did jack and shit. We have not heard about this game. Then we got the real Brainiac came out and discussed the Justice League.
Yeah.
So, wait. You killed a Brainiac in No Justice, but then he came back and discussed on Justice League, making Brainiac 2 completely pointless. What was this guy again? I don't get.
It's not the first time that's ever happened.
That's true.
All right, so let's begin to make a start finally into our top 5. Starting off with number 5. Would you like to do yours, Amari? So for number 5.
Honestly, I don't have a top 5. I'm just gonna bounce off of you guys.
Okay then.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know top 5, but I can probably think of someone on my head. So I think
you put this party together. let's hear you. You list. How about you list yours, Telly, and we'll tell you what we think about it.
To heal him.
The heel. Sorry.
To heal him. In
Tehillim,
basic
sorry.
English terms, it just means Psalm 29. So if that's easier for you to say, use that. So
To him, right?
yeah, Tehillim 29. It's Jewish or
Tehillim
Hebrew
29.
for Psalm
Tehillim
29. So
I will try to remember
for
it.
number 5, or my number 5, I have Adam Glass.
Ooh.
And
Don't remind me.
yeah, now this took place after the
Yeah.
Justice League No Justice, and
Yeah.
things literally began with, say, the annual. And
Yeah. I'm not really sure what the goal was with this new iteration of Teen Titans. It was
Why do
kind
you
of
need a
weird.
new run? Why do you need a new team? The old team is fine the way they were.
I agree. I really enjoyed the older team under
Yeah, I agree
Benjamin
with that.
Percy. I think Benjamin Percy definitely nailed not only Damian Wayne but also John Samuel Ken
Yep.
when he
Mhm.
came and sort of like visited in that storyline.
Yeah. For
And
Yeah.
and you
Right.
could definitely see that there was a really good communication between the writers
Yep.
in how the story was delivered. But when it came to this, yeah, you could tell that the heart had been removed, literally, from Damian Wayne's character.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
knocked him back down a bit, and
Yeah,
They
Remember,
butchered his
they tried
character.
to explain near the end that it was had some. The problem with that one was they tried to explain that after what happened with Alfred and everything happened, and
well, this
obviously
is
you don't want to get too deep into the Tom King woods, but still,
Except
well,
problem
oh.
with that, I'm glad to never took it before Alfred died.
yes, this is a
Yeah,
little
so-
bit before that. So this is moving into sort of like after the events of Justice League No Justice. I think at the time they were still promoting Batman issue 50 before all the shit and nonsense of that went
Before
down.
before the wedding happened, which fucked everything up.
Yep, and
Issue 50 where everything went to hell, in my opinion.
it
God.
really lost its
Yeah,
way.
we got Crush out of it. She's pretty fun, and they brought back Mia, although I don't think that's the same. Although I think she was out of character. So for
She
the
went
most
out
part,
to so would Wash West.
We had Wallace West, we had Emiko, we had Roundhouse, the Jin, who I personally hated.
Ryan was so boring. This Ryan, I did not like it at all. The guy was a jerk and a traitor. He betrayed the team.
Yep.
And they still let him be on the team. Why? Why you let him be on the team if the guy betrayed you? Who got to deal with the true? Oh yeah, didn't win. I did get one ass.
yeah, I think they were trying. They were trying to do. I don't really remember entirely behind this run, but unfortunately, they were trying and it basically just became, hey, Damien and his weird group of friends, not the ones who would have told him to stop, no, the ones who were working with him, and basically kidnapping criminals and doing really weird stuff in the Teen Titans.
It made Suicide Squad. Yeah,
and the problem, the big issue with how they, I guess the biggest issue with how they did this here was this is Teen Titans are supposed to be kind of like fun kid adventures. You can get serious if you want, but this was really weird and a really odd story to have. And it seemed like it was much more a Damian Wayne story that just happened to have, here's these characters who Damian Wayne can get to go with him on this weird run that is just bizarre, honestly. The whole thing was just really, he's going down a dark spiral that they kind of they clearly wanted to send him in one direction and they didn't really know how to get him there.
Yeah.
It was...
continue.
It was really terrible as to what they did here, because every time when I was reading issues, I was wondering, okay, are we going to see friends that are connected to Damien that are going to show up in this series? And my other question was, where the hell is Goliath?
Yeah, where is he?
Because-
What the hell?
Yeah,
Like-
that's an odd thing with. Well, again, that's an odd thing with Damian Wayne. Like he has his pet, he's
Yeah.
loyal to it, but at the same time, it's like you can only tell. There are certain stories that don't really work if Damian has a giant and red dragon monster. Not every story works with that.
It's a bit of a dragon bat, to be honest. But
I
Yeah.
mean, it's awesome, and I would love. It would.
if anything, Goliath himself is also a part of Damian Wayne's character because
Yeah,
when you read like Robin, son of Batman,
and
you
I remember.
un- you understand why Goliath is there. It's sort of like Goliath, in a way, was his connection to having empathy for a species
Yep.
that he was told to wipe out, and this is that one very thing that he chose not to wipe out.
Yep, even before he met the family.
Yep.
And honestly, they should do a thing where, like, if they did a thing in the future, and like they may or may not apply at this point, that like if they're going to send Damian Wayne into that supernatural direction, they could be like, hey, he kind of has this weird connection with Goliath. He can call him whenever he needs to.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of demon is Goliath? You can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah.
If you,
And
maybe
Goliath,
like maybe Goliath dies and then he gives, and then like, because you had a bond with me, you get my power, Damien. You can call upon that. That's a weird thing we could do. It's comic book.
it was just one character that you could feel in the story that was just wasn't there. Of course, they brought back the heretic as well, and that also links into both the Atom Glass moving. Now, was it before he came in or after he came in? It might have been in a joint story that they did together. To which they end up meeting up with the heretic.
Oh yeah, heretic. I
Yeah.
remember what happened to him. It turned out actually that the main
Yeah, it was
bad
Adam
guy
Glass.
I don't remember that.
I forget. Who was the mystery villain in this?
Well, the heretic played as the mystery villain, sort of like and don't forget the other stuff that was coming up towards the end of the run as well.
With Robbie Thompson.
The infected. We had the infected that was going to be happening. Linking to the Hell Arisen nonsense bollocks, and eventually jumping or getting the readers prepared for the death metal event.
Oh right.
Yes.
Oh yeah, not
So
you're talking Year of the Villain.
Yeah, Year of the Villain.
Which
Yes.
sucked.
All right,
Year
you're
of
the
the
villain.
Villain
That
was
was
a
it.
terrible event. Wait, Year of the Villain event.
Honestly, it was
Year
more
of
of
the
a.
Villain is a point cast grab and it went nowhere.
Honestly, Year of the Villain was more felt to me more like a bit of a waste. Just like you could have done a little bit more with it, but like it can't again, just thing that just happened. It was tied into the whole thing, and like there was some good stuff around it. Like,
but Justice did not do Year of the Villain. Justice would follow Year of the Villain part. It tells story. It can get perpetual stuff. But all the time, Year of the Villain sucked. None of them were good. The fight Year of the Villain pointless. Well, I have to. Flash Year of the Villain I think was good, but I can adjust to in the book. That book was good. But Year of the Teen Titans, garbage. Year of the Superman, man, no fucking thing was trying to append this BS. But that one though, the band didn't do Year of the Villain. Big of Bendis, she actually is on my list. She had to eat my list, but I'll say him later. But I will want to say that I hit Trenick will run.
All right, then I might as well get things prepared for the next one.
Wait, I got number 5.
Yep, okay then. I'll
right,
wait for you to pull it up then.
Mm-hmm. Ready?
all right, who is it? Who's number 5 for you?
Yeah. My number 5 is I'm going to Teen Titans because this book broke me. Like, fuck. Talk about a run that went to shit. Yeah, I know, I'm saying, you know what? I had to put number 5 because I'm glad.
Well, we are
Broke
talking
me.
writers. Remember that we
Yeah.
are talking writers. So
Because this book was fucking garbage. What the fuck was this shit? This shit. What was this bullshit? This made no sense. Yeah, no, Universe. Okay, Universe don't know the point. I said, fuck Universe. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, the Terminator Gender story, which. What about Terminator Gender? What the point of this thing?
done with
This thing was
Christopher
pointless!
Yeah, he locked up Deathstroke, and like my only question with that was like again, as we just said, we just mentioned it. It was kind of weird though that no one did anything. No one noticed what these kids were doing. By the time someone did, it was way too late.
Yeah, it was Batman who figured it out, but Robin no more. Fuck, I hate Robin no more.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that was a really bad one just because of, and that's like what left the bad taste for me for the Robin series. Which because like, hold on, this whole series is based on the idea that like Damian left Batman and just like, okay, fair enough, Bruce, he's not the first one, but like, your son is 14 and he tells you that he's mainly doing this because that's his relative, because his other father figure died. His brother is currently amnesiac. His best friend is gone, and your idea was just to, and your idea was just let him leave. Yep. But the weirdest part about Robinson is just like there's that one issue where all the Robins go after him, and they're just like totally cool with letting him be there. And it's very bizarre to me because like, didn't you guys go out of your way to get him as far away from League of Assassins' life as you could? Why are you just so cool with him doing this? It's why it was always such a jarring for me because like my Damian Wayne was doing the Super Twins. He was in school, so he was with the Bat family, and ever since then he's kind of been distant from the Bat family. And like, okay, then just have him go live with Dick Grayson in Bloodhaven if he's having issues with Bruce. But like, this is just bizarre.
Yeah, this is garbage. Like, this is what New 52 was garbage. This was worse than New 52. Holy shit! I am never went my time. Teen Academy is horrible. Yes, but this was worse. Okay, that's true. Both Teen Academy and the others are both bad, but for different reasons.
Apparently, Teen Titans Academy isn't very. I've heard Teen Titans Academy isn't the best. I wasn't reading it, so I can't.
You weren't missing much. You believe me.
Oh, that poor.
Yeah,
I ended up dropping Teen Titans Academy early, and that was under Tim Sheridan. But one good thing about it, at least Damian Wayne wasn't in it. That's sort of about the only thing that.
I guess so.
Yeah, I found main villain. Main villain would be one Elias.
Teen Titans Academy again?
Elias.
Tim Sheridan did Teen Titans.
Tim Sheridan wrote that book, yeah.
Okay, it's kind of weird that you're teaching characters who have already been heroes.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, our main villain for this arc with Elias, who really was the leader of the genies somehow. It was stupid. They went to heaven, which was confusing. And like, what? And someone stole my ring. And the
Jim is just one character that needs to die in the series.
It was so confusing.
What's her whole thing again?
She's like 5,000 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 5,000 years old in a teenage body, and here she is trying
to. Never worked.
She is trying to hook up with Damian in one issue, and it's sort of like, get this shit away from me.
Yeah, this makes no sense.
Like, you realize the consequences of those actions.
It's
as bad.
It's always, you know what?
It became as bad as sort of like Deathstroke and Terror. Just in this case, it's done in reverse with a young-looking genie in the 5,000-year mark and Damian Wayne. No thanks.
Yeah. We learned from Twilight that just doesn't work. I know you want, like, sometimes they do the thing where, like, and, like, sometimes you can get away with it to a degree where it's just like, well, yes, but how, like, how old are you mentally? Like, were you in like a coma? Are you in a mortal, or like do you age differently? But like, I guess if they didn't do that,
Yeah, they
'cause
play
again, I couldn't
Robo
tell
for
you.
some reason. That goes nowhere.
About the only
Mhm.
character in this little run that's also made a return in the Batman versus
His
Robin
crush, daughter of Lobo, and like,
Yeah, I got
okay,
Robo.
cool.
was
She has a cool design. I think she had a fun,
She
a fun-ish story.
she appeared at the end of the camera and she left the team and said, "No, I'm done with this shit. I'm done." And she leaves. Oh yeah, Jakeem. He showed up in this book,
yeah,
but Jakeem did
Jakeem.
nothing in the story.
Jakeem, I think, was a good character choice. I would have been happy with him because he did look as if he was like about the same age as the rest of the Teen Titans.
Yeah,
Compared to the rest, and yeah, you could certainly see that that character felt like they were in their early teens themselves, and I would accept that character over the Jin.
Okay.
agreed.
And
Oh
I
yeah,
liked what they did with the character.
same. Speaking of stupidity, we did get a tie-in book to Teen Down, which kind of the English Winter. This is better than the Adam Grass book, but it didn't go anywhere. It just went. Well, that's it.
All right, so it's a teen time. All right, so we've
Oh,
established that we
wait,
don't.
there's one more thing I do want to bring up, and that does connect actually to, well, a thing that I want to is the heretic. Because, like I said before, that thing was connected to with another villain that came in, that this guy. Like, hello, brother.
Who's this?
Yes, that is
That
meant
is
to be the
heretic.
heretic, who was connected to the Batman Incorporated run.
Yep. He got head
Yeah.
chopped up.
Yeah,
Now, you're probably wondering how the hell this guy came back to life.
Maybe you should just. I guess some things shouldn't be resurrected, and that's definitely one of them.
yes.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah, and this is the mystery villain.
Personally, I would have loved it if it had been the character of Surun Durga.
Yeah.
Because I like
And
Surun Durga and he is a likable character.
Always
And-
blame on nobody.
But yeah, just bringing someone who's died and sorry. Aren't you the one that Talia killed?
Yeah.
For
And
killing
then he
Damien?
came out to life and then he died again. I know what happened to Heretic. I forget. It was so stupid to avoid him in a fucking sense.
Yeah, they brought up some resurrection or Lazarus resurrection plot.
Right,
But
so
the
there was
thing
this
is,
BS.
the character was freaking beheaded. There's no way that they should have survived a resurrection in the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, there's no way he's supposed to come out to life with a head chopped off. That was bullshit. That was stupid. Oh my god. Such a terrible,
All right.
terrible one. But my god, the ending of this horrible book was worse than stupid. That's the love annual
Okay.
book, which honestly, that thing I think
So-
is on my list.
Hold on. Is this still number 5, right?
No, this is
Or
yeah, not annual. I forgot there were two this one. Yeah, this was senior annual number 1. Didn't wait by letter for some reason. It was stupid. This is bad.
all
Who
right,
wrote the
then.
annual again? Yeah, the Thompson one was just crap. A whole annual. I hate the annual. And then this annual really bad. It's too many annuals. Yeah. It's confusing.
Again, it kind of, instead of a Teen Titans book, you got more of a Damian Wayne solo series.
Yeah, this is
with
stupid.
his friends.
I know you tried to do it, and now you die.
Makes money. Same way you don't make it make sense, though.
Yeah, this was stupid. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Oh, that.
let everything we didn't. You know what? I agreed to help you. Grass wrote this crap. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
again,
this.
they'll sometimes turn Damian Wayne's character back a few decades by just well, they'll just undo it a bit by
Oh
making him.
yeah, joystick. I completely forgot with this guy.
Oh,
You're
yes.
not villain that came back.
Well, I didn't really read this run, so I can't comment on that. Sorry.
You won't make
Alright.
him. Joystick was a
Alright.
stupid villain. You said a
Well-
terrible villain. That's garbage.
Well, are we ready to
They're
move
trying to be clever with the
into-
name, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, are we ready to move into number 4?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's move on.
All right, for
Mhm.
number 4, my choice is, in fact, Robbie Thompson.
Who?
Yep. I
Robbie
agree.
Thompson, who sort of like led towards the ending of the Teen Titans
The
run.
horrible one. Yeah.
Come on,
Yes.
Google, can we stop talking about the Teen Titans? We've been on it for about 30 minutes. I get that. I get it. His Teen Titan ending was dissatisfied and unpleasant. But there has to be
We're
something
gonna go
else.
shoot this squad. After this, we're gonna go shoot this squad.
Yep, so
But somehow better than Teen Titans.
Well, yeah. Honestly, this was more of an
I want
excuse.
my time show like shooting squad, but from the very beginning, and not right after the Teen Titans.
Okay. All right. So, if Teen Titans again is number 4, who's number 3? Don't say Teen Titans, please.
Matt, what's your list? What's your number 3?
for my number 3, for writers,
Well, wait. Maybe not.
because we are saying writers here,
One number
Yeah.
4, right?
right? Not books, but writers specifically.
Well, I guess if you have to pick number 3. For number 3, I guess if I had to pick someone, the current stuff.
Well, did I do number 4? I did 5, and maybe I did 4.
Oh.
Shit.
Well, while you try to remember what it was, can I give my number 3?
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
go ahead.
there you go. Go ahead.
Who would you name as your number 3 then?
Well, in terms of 3 privileges, I don't like how you're writing super tons. It would have to be Joshua Williams with this Dark Crisis event that he's putting on. Now, no disrespect to Joshua Williams. I actually saw this podcast where he was talking with Comic Pop, who the guy I love his work. Comic Pop shit. I was watching him talk, and he was really passionate about it. And the entire Dark Crisis event, according to him, is supposed to just be about a DC legacy and how DC is a place of hope and full of legacy characters. That's the goal. And looking at it, and if you look at that, and then you look at what he's given, it seems to me like upper management got in the way and said, "Hey, you got to use these characters." Because if you want to do a story about, because he clearly knows about the legacy of DC, he clearly has had this idea in his head for a while, but they said like, "Hey, you got to use John as Superman. You got to use a few other characters. Try to work them in somehow." And it's like, what? You can use Nightwing, of course, but you have to push John in, and like that doesn't really work because John hasn't been like they've too soon with poor Johnny.
They accelerated the crap, which we'll get to that later.
Like he's clearly supposed to, based on the location alone, he's clearly supposed to be like the Superman equivalent for the Dark Crisis. The problem is like you pushed him way too hard, too fast. This is his first event, and like he's supposed to be like the Superman stand. I'm like, no, I'm looking at it and like, why is this teenager who's who hasn't been drawn like a teenager in years, by the way, setting them up for Justice League? Like, hold on, where are the Titans? Why is Young Justice off on a teen outside adventure when they're easily all in their early 20s? Where's the Outlaws?
That book is crap. Garbage. Sorry.
Hold on, Xavier, let Amari finish.
Yeah, like, and I'm walking like they're trying, and like at least in Joshua Williams' fairness, he gave John a personality again. That was nice, and like he kind of said that youthful enthusiasm that we liked about him. Like the entire vibe of the series. I'm just reading and just thinking, this shouldn't be about you. Sorry, kid, you're not the one. I know they're trying to make you you're the new hotness to a degree. Well, more like lukewarm, but still, like it should have been about someone else. Like, and if you were going to do a big event like this, maybe it could have been like, I don't know, get all the superheroes, get all their families, and have them go and be sucked into the darkness and go on separate adventures a little bit or something like that, or have the teams all together. You got one era, you got Dick Grayson's era with Titans, you got a Jason Todd's group with Outlaws, you got Tim Drake leading the group for Young Justice era, and you got Damian. You got the Birds of Prey era for Barbara. You got Damian Wayne's era with the Super Sons era. And that's where you put John, by the way, because they want to make him like a Nightwing, but he's just not.
Yeah. You can't agree?
Not you got to earn that title, and you got to earn that title, that spot, and I just don't think he's gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Same.
Definitely agree. There is a lot of work that needs to be done with the character, and it's really something that they've lost in aging him up.
Yeah.
And
we can spend a whole hour talking about why that was dumb.
Yes, but
yeah.
I think that will become more evident once we reach our number ones.
Yeah.
That's providing if our number ones are all the same.
That is on my list.
So
all right.
So 29.
So,
what do you think about the Dark Crisis anyway?
There's been some okay moments, but then there's some moments that really need some cleaning up.
Yeah.
Like
they brought it. Like, did any of you by any chance read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow?
Nope.
No. I talked about Tom King a long time ago. Speaking of Tom King, I did find my number 4.
Well, here's the thing: Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It's really good. Tom King. If I don't know how you could see this, but look. Don't ever write an ongoing again. You are made for miniseries. You work there. And it really put Kara in this role as like Kara should be where John is right now. She should be leading the Justice League. She is competent. She knows her stuff. They brought her back in here and she is just like, oh, older sister, John, don't lose your cool. The cars are all in the other version, the usual version. There's a scene particularly once where Black Adam being a dick, they're trying to make him a hero because The Rock's playing him, but no. And like, thank you, Joshua Williams, for remembering that the Black Adam is a jerk. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, and like, where's Billy Batson in all this madness?
Yep.
Where's Captain Marvel?
He wasn't. Yeah, but anyway, there's a scene where Black Adam goes to this random building to make a statement. Huh? There's a scene where Black Adam.
I realized something. Where's Captain Marvel Jr.? Where's Maymo?
Oh, Freddie, you know that. Fred... Oh yeah, well, you know, in New 52, they re-rated so that kid got rolled into one of the Shazam families. He's the guy with the crutches. They just took him from Junior and turned him into that guy. Same character, just different. Same character, different and title. But anyway, like I said, in Dark Crisis, there's a scene where the Black Adam, being a dick, is about to kill this random villain. John's getting all mad and angry about it, and Kara is just holding him back. And that doesn't make sense to me because the cars are all I know would have walked over there, grabbed Black Adam, made him say his name with her hands, and then knocked him out. But they made her really passive here. Also, it's kind of weird that on that same team, you got Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Both are legacies in their own right. They've been on the lead before. Why are they listening to this teenager? You got Frankenstein, who has led a team in the Operation of Shade. Again, why are you listening to this teenager? Also,
his team made no sense.
The JSA showing up near the end made sense. And one thing that they did do that was kind of a nice twist was they were probably originally planning on having those future state Justice Leaguers come in and be the new legacy. Like then they decide, but then they realize like that's not working. And it's a nice little joke. Like when John goes to all of them, they all say no.
Wait, that made me laugh. That was funny. That'd be good. Like, look, I want Jay Fox near your team. Jay Fox is a jerk. Fuck Jay Fox. I mean, y'all for
but it's,
okay,
yeah,
fine.
I guess.
I heard y'all for it.
Chase Fox needs his own identity hero name. He does not need to be Batman.
It's so bizarre that they've made him Batman because, like, the Bat family is enormous. There's 5 Batgirls, 5 Robins, each one and with a history with the Mantle. I think if I understand, he did exist at some point, but that was decades ago. It's weird they brought him back, and like you have Bat Wings. There's a really cool one that lives in Africa. I was like, did they age up? No, they didn't.
Yeah, the Luke Fox one character I do like. I've yet to read the original around the character who did start in Africa.
Yeah,
think
like
that was
maybe
the
he
biggest
Yeah,
like,
like, why did you make him the new Batman clone? Like that's not a bad costume.
Yeah.
I'm aware that they covered the face on the one guy who was the black guy. But I'm guessing there's a joke around for him like so that why does Batman show his face? So that the police know he's white. Lol. But still, it's just such a weird thing because like again, it's supposed this whole thing is supposed to be about leg, and yet there's that one image of like Yara, Jace, and John behind Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I'm just like, no, that should be either Connor, Kara, that should be Kara, and then that should be Tim, Kara, and
Cassie,
or it would be Nightwing, Donna Troy, and maybe Kara Zor-El or Steel. But like these characters, like you can't artificially make a legacy. So, and like I feel that for changing because you can tell he knows what should be here, and he's not. Like they roped Zatanna into this, and I'm like, are you going to use Zachary Zatar? Are you going to bring and also like they tried to do this big thing like the league is dead. The league is dead. What are we going to do? Like this is John's first crisis, and like they again clever moment where he's like the league is dead. What are we going to do? And Nightwing is like they've been dead before, dude.
Yeah,
I've been dead. I'm like,
I got
what
shot
would
in
have been
the
a cool
head.
moment actually? Yeah, what would have been actually a cool moment would have been if, like, for example, you got someone like Superboy Prime shows up and just like, hey guys, there's a problem.
He's
There's
gone.
a problem with the thing. Where are you guys? And then they're like, be quiet. The league is dead. And they're like, okay, they've been dead before. Raise your hand, crowd of heroes. Who has been dead before? Williams, and like all the hands go up, and John's just like, what? Like, yeah, new guy, move it on. Come on. Again, in that podcast I saw, he's like, oh yeah, they're dead for good. Like he gets it. Like death isn't a thing. And like again, and it's funny because. But it's so weird. Like you listen to Black Adam, who made it back. No, like Hal Jordan is like bullshit. I don't believe that. No one but John seems to believe it.
Yeah,
that they're all dead. And like, of course you do. You're a teenager. This is who's been thrown into a spot that you're not ready for.
Yep. And
Right.
Connor is whining and don't crazy. What? The Connor that I know would never act like that. The Connor was a badass who saved the day and died at her immigrant. Many people like Connor to be idiot. You were going to be insane. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're also and like you're all mourning. Like no. Okay, where's the team that you're sent? No. Instead, also, why did you tell the whole world that your heroes are dead? That seems like I get that Black Adam like fell and said this stuff, but like, hey, maybe we don't tell everybody that the people who are keeping the villains from killing everybody and going nutso are gone. And also, like, they're not all gone. The Justice League has hundreds of members. It lost, granted, 10 of the powerhouses, but they're not all gone.
Yeah.
Like, that JSA moment alone was really satisfying because it's like, yeah. But also just like, where's Vixen? Dr. Fate should still be around. There are still members of the Justice League Dark around. There are still, like, yeah, they got rid of the ones that you remember when you think of Leaguers leaders, but like, there are still, where's Mr. Terrific? Where's Plastic Man? There's People, Red Tornado. I could go on, but you get my point. Like, there are other heroes who just aren't here.
Here's the thing. Why West actually did that smart. In the Flash book, he went to the movie in order to save Barry Allen. And surprise. Why in the Flash Barry did the right thing. They were smart.
Yeah, it's actually funny. They go
yeah,
at one point they go to the Flash. John goes to the Flash, is to Wallace, and they're like, oh yeah, guy I kind of know. No, we're going with Wally. We're pretty sure we know where Barry is. We can kind of track him because we have Speed Force powers. You get that they're not dead, right? And then they leave. And it's also this really nice scene where like Wally is calls Hal Uncle Hal. It's like, yeah, you've known these people since you were a child. You would call him that. But again, that scene also kind of ruined because like, hey, John, as someone who's had to take over the legacy in my own right, you got to make it your own. Don't get overshadowed. And it's like, what are you doing? That's right. But it's like, but also, again, I say something else. Where is Young Justice in all this? Shouldn't they be here? When Tim is dead, he went on a world tour looking for him. Connor, again, I can get into this later, but the main reason you're never going to see Connor Kent and Jonathan Kent in the same panel for too long, if you do that for too long, people are going to start asking questions. Hey, why is Connor, who is you have baited Bendis. We know that that's the same Connor. He should be at least early 20s. Why does he, one, look like a child? And why is two, is he not doing Superman stuff? And why does, and it's probably because if they put them together, they're either going to make John look more mature than him, or people are going to wonder, or make Connor look cooler, and neither really works.
By the way, I found the panel you're referring to.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
that image. That image like you'll see an image also, by the way, where like one, he's smaller. Connor's usually big, but he's a big dude usually. Like they look like children again, particularly Connor. Connor's always been bigger than everybody.
Like this dialogue.
I don't know why he looks like that.
Megan Martin hates the characters she's writing, and you can tell. And let's not forget self-insert. Self-insert character.
But look at this image right here. Like John is clearly ahead. Like that image should be reversed. Like John is both bigger and stronger than like one. John isn't buff, or at least I don't know when he is because they've drawn him in the 30s. But like it's very weird how also the interaction here, it's really weird how they're doing it. Like all these characters in this room are older and have more history in their solos than John does in his entire continuity. Yet the way it's almost, and I was worried about this, they were going to kind of afraid of like, hey guys, I got word from the grown-ups what's going on, and you kids need some advice or something. Like, thankfully, I don't think they did that. They just kind of left, and it's really weird because, like, again, John kind of skipped the Teen Titans and Young Justice stage, and just kind of went straight to.
Yeah,
like,
if anything, really John could get some advice from them.
Like,
not the other way around.
This book broke me. This book made me mad and feel I didn't. But also, like,
there were some straight up moments in this Young Justice run that I remember seeing where it's just like, you got the details wrong. Okay, let's start with the fact, like, at one point Bart even says, "Hey, I can't even talk to Wally. Without Barry around, he's impossible to talk to." And like, that's reversed. Bart goes with Wally. Wallace goes with Barry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the little, but anyway, like apparently,
but what
baffles me about, that was actually kind of weird. She was apparently a bit of a jerk, like saying they're fake dads, and like, no, it's just that no one has used them in about a decade, so no one remembers how close they were.
Yeah,
with these characters.
Like,
but and to add insult to injury, again to add insult to injury though, Young Justice right now is on some kind of tie-in. It's universe dimensional thingamajig with like Mixopilic or something, or his kid or something.
Well, actually,
they're on some kind of tie-in adventure that like this is the tie-in adventure that you usually put the teenage characters on during the big event. Fair enough. These characters are all in their 20s. These guys should be doing like the pick up the legacy, and you should have John and Damian on the random ass adventure in the other dimension with the tie-in. But like, it's so jarring when like, me, John, and Jara, we're the Justice League, and just like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Also, but also like, no, you're not. Why are you? And also like, this is not the story for you two to be told with. Sorry. Have to get that out.
Okay. Bullshit. I hate this book.
All right.
This book
you
is
said
worse.
that you were gonna mention your number 4, Tevye, and I think you
said
Tom King.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I remember. Like, hang on. Tom King Batman one with Bruce Wayne, but this was bad. This is too way after issue 50. When issue 50, everyone went to shit with the Fight for Batman stuff. This made no sense because let me get it straight. You have Damon Wayne, aka gone by his own grandpa, aka Fight for Batman, who shouldn't even exist, who came in an alternate timeline that got blown up by Doc Manhattan, but then have everybody in the reverse Flash with BS, and this way they didn't even go out of Fight for Batman.
Yeah, they brought in the Flashpoint Beyond Batman, which is Thomas Wayne.
Yeah. I just want to say, I was going to point out with Tom King, again, clearly Tom King is made for the miniseries because his miniseries are actually pretty good, but like people are only going to remember him for this bad Batman run because like his interpretation of Batman wasn't the best. It was very robotic. It was really weird. He didn't really have a personality. Parts of it. Tom King's perception of Batman seems to be that this this is my suicide note. I am all like, buddy, what are you doing? He tried doing a lot of, and like, to his credit, one thing you should give Tom King though for this series is that he is outright stated he didn't want to kill off Alfred the way like that. Like, there's green and gas. It was supposed to be fear gas. It was supposed to be fear gas. It was supposed to be an illusion. Like they were. Then someone up in upper management again told him, "Hey, no, you got to kill him." And it's funny though, and it's funny. It's just unfortunate because if you read his Up in the Sky, he's a pretty good Superman. He should have been writing Superman, and I guess you could have given and the other guy Batman because he may or may not have been okay with it. But yeah, as you were saying, Tibia,
Tibia, you still there?
Tibia, you still there? I think something happened.
He might be AFK.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll move on to my number 3 then, which is in fact Tom King, and I really disliked what they did with
oh, hey.
one of Damian Wayne's closest friends and brothers, Nightwing.
His older brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, never got shot in the head.
And that was probably one of the worst things on top of like what was to come next. So you had the amnesia, Dick Grayson. Right. Then on top of that, you get the next thing in regards to Alfred. Like,
Alfred's gone.
How about we just build up on the bloody trauma that the kid's already been through in his own life? Give the kid a bloody break. He needs to have some wins.
His brother would make it worse. I said before.
But it's really weird, though. Actually, yeah, it's actually really weird with the Tom King ones. Like with Damien, like I get it, Damien, but like your family is freaking enormous. There were other people you like. I know you don't have the closest relationship with Barbara, but she's like your older sister. You could have gone to her. I'm pretty sure she wasn't killed yet. She was still around. And like there are people, and like granted, but still, his father is AWOL because Tom King for some reason had Batman leave at a crisis, and like this is again one of those. This also was just one of those stories where just like Batman doesn't always work connected to the rest of these.
Those are Tom King's credit. There was actually one little arc that I did like of his.
It was doing Talia. I did own that arc on.
And it did have to do with Damien, Talia, Catwoman, all that other nonsense.
That made me smile. That made me happy. We get loving the Super Chat in that book.
And the arc was called Rules of Engagement. And
I actually
it had some really nice moments between Damien and also Dick Grayson. Now, this is before the event, and I thought it felt like he sort of captured the character, but he also forgot the character's age, to which literally had to take the readers to remind him of his age. Or readers to remind Tom King of his age. And they ended up fixing that up in the editing, like when the trade came out, to make sure it was accurate. And of course,
I don't even remember how the Tom King Batman run ended. I remember the last thing I saw was
City of Pain.
I'm trying to screen share what I'm talking about. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, this pissed me all the time. But here's the note made me mad. Because when she didn't win crying, she like, I know, I see what you're bringing. Now that he's gone, the rest of the family will come. But you're forgetting we have a new husband and we have you. And
honestly, everyone pointed out in that one, like you turned Flashpoint Batman into a monster.
Yeah,
actual monster.
Like,
he wasn't the best, but like he wasn't like this. And like you started off in a good place, and like at this, but also come on, at this point in continuity, both Batman and Superman's dead fathers, who were supposed to be dead, have come back and fucked up their kids' lives.
Except with Superman, that made sense. That more with Joel. But here's the thing that made me mad.
We can get to that later.
This 7 Damien actually was mental downfall.
We don't need to see the death.
all
We don't need to see the
rainbow.
death scene in 29.
I
Don't
had
show
to
it,
bring it up.
for
because
God's sakes.
Yeah, I had to
Why do
bring
we
it
have
up.
to look at
because
this?
Like, fuck. This why the Damien actually is shit going down here a little fast. This why the T9 BS is getting worse with Adam Glass.
Well, it's worth mentioning
Love in this
again.
book. Or not
Tom
Glass,
King-
Thompson in this book.
Well, hold on. It's worth mentioning Tom King has outright stated this was supposed to be a fear toxin based illusion. That was supposed to be an illusion. That wasn't supposed to be real. That was supposed to be green gas. But DC was like, you can't do the. DC didn't want to do the fake out for some unknown reason, and then we're just like,
Yep.
So we're making, and this is the thing that happened. I'm like, why? Because drama.
Yeah, I have also heard of another. Is that
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
they could have used Psycho Pirate
Again,
to make Damien believe that he died in front of him. And
yeah,
I
again,
think that would have made way
him on
better
Psycho
sense
Pirate in this run. I
than
guess Tom
killing
King
him
likes
off.
Psycho Pirate. I'm guessing Tom King likes Psycho Pirate. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Like,
when he had the interview with Tongue and Said, Cole, I got the opposite of push back. I got pushed forward, can you recall? I should have had the clipping with Alpha at the end of the Paris. I put in script like, of course, we'll figure out later he's not dead. He's like, no. Why he's not dead? And I'm like, well, because he's Alpha and he has to live forever because he's a fanatic. And they're like, no, he's dead. And
so
he puts away character to the opening game mode because they need long-term plan, how to bring them out, but that might not be the case here. So, yeah, thanks to...
Yeah, you can't blame Tom King. You can't, because like sometimes DC is just like, hey, we have editorials just like, do this. And like, that's not a good idea, but we're doing it anyway.
Yep.
And speaking of which, I think I know what number 2 is going to be for both of you.
Well, that did number 4.
Oh, yeah. This is your number 4, right?
Yep. Like,
all right. So what's your number 3?
This way the law probably this way the one Damon Wayne, which led to the tale with how Laurie Thompson to the end book, which fuck everything up.
All right. So what's your number 3?
Okay. My number 3, I know I'm kind of into one up, but fuck it, it does connect to Alfred's death. Because this led to Damon Wayne actually downfall completely bullshit. See that and number 2 with Laurie Thompson, which fucked everything up.
This already, dude.
I know.
Fabian.
But here's the thing: this actually led to Alfred's death.
Yeah, this didn't make a lot of sense. It was clearly done in a very. We need to get Damien ready for his solo series. Have him going somewhere else, and just like, you can think of anything else.
Now I'm fine putting any leaves.
And also, what really baffles is like, if you know Batman as a parent, you know that like he wouldn't just maybe he would just let the kid leave, but like there should have been a scene where Dick Grayson, when he gets his memories back, he's just like, wait a minute, so he did what? And you just let him walk away. He's 14. He needed you idiot, not me. I gotta go find him.
Yeah.
That's how the encounter should have. There should have been a scene where like, and he's just screaming his head off at Bruce in almost a comedic way, like, you irresponsible moron of a father, you fucked me up, you fucked the other 2 up, and now you're fucking this one up. I gotta go find him.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Yeah. We also can't forget the terrible Heroes in Crisis by Tom King too.
Yeah,
but...
Yeah, that one actually, that one also has apparently a reason behind it. According to Linkara, and I'm going by his words, Tom King wrote Heroes in Crisis, just wrote it, but he didn't pick the characters. The characters were picked for him, and he's like, okay, you just put them in the roles. So what happened with Booster Gold and Harley Quinn were just picked because they're popular characters.
And Wally.
It had nothing to, and also Wally. Yeah, Heroes in Crisis and the Fantabulous, a character assassination of one Wally West.
Yep.
You fucked up when the entire you have to do a redemption and a retconning right after. You fucked up when you got to do that right after.
Yeah.
To put that back. But it's really weird though that they made this the reason Damien leaves Robin. Like, okay, I can get you and also kind of the way that Bruce like kept blaming him for it, because like, okay, fair enough, but like you were gone.
Yeah. If
But
anything,
Batman
had
told
his-
him when to go to Gotham City and to see the Alfred.
yeah,
That was Batman's
but
fault.
also like
What the
they
fuck?
made
And, like,
Bruce look like a pure arsehole.
Yeah.
and like
And
I
they
hate when
also
they do that,
did
with,
the same with Damien, which
Yeah.
which is like
absolutely
This
ruined
is
the
this
character.
is the book that made me mad. Annual 2 is
Yeah, it's
my
like-
number 3. This is why I'm pissed off. This book pissed me off
It's
so much
like-
that I went video. Like, what the fuck? This
Yeah.
is worse than you know all issue 4. Issue 4 was bad. Yes, they're going up, but this annual was fucking god. Thompson fucked this character so much than Grass destroyed the character.
yeah,
Tom did worse than Grass did.
yes.
I mean, impossible.
What's the sad thing is though, thanks to a certain somebody who we'll talk about later,
Yeah.
Batman's no longer the only terrible parent in the DC universe.
Yep.
Yep.
And I'm not just talking about you, Mr. or Oliver Queen.
Yep. That's
Oh,
my
boy.
number 3.
So
So right.
what's your number 2 then?
I think we all know what number 2. Well, actually, it is a bit of a contest now, isn't it? You got, because at this point, which is worse? The story that messes them up, or the story that makes it permanent? That all but makes it permanent. Which is
Both.
worse? The guy. Okay, so then I think we can. What do you think? The one who messes them up, or the one who makes it permanent?
You choose. It's your choice.
Well, all right. Well,
Who would
In
you
my-
name as your second?
well, again, it's a debate. Like, who's the one? The guy Bendis, who yes, screwed it up. And we can get to that later. Or
Yep.
Tom Taylor, who's basically made John's time as an adult permanent. Because like with Bendis, for all the horrible things that we can all say for hours on end, at least nothing Bendis really did would have stuck. Like you can just wipe it away, retcon it out. That's literally what the Marvel method. When Bendis leaves a book, you clean house or you just ignore it. And a lot of writers do that because they're just like, he never listens to us. Why do we listen to him? But
Yep.
like with
Squirt, motherfucker. Yep.
Yeah, which is a
So-
personal reference on his own. But meanwhile, with Tom Taylor, it's like a good chunk is what he's done is like these are big moments that would have been really cool to see John have that you've just done. He's just Clark but shorter now. So like, which is worse? We can talk about the one that you think is slightly better for next.
Well, for myself, I actually had 2 tied in that position.
Same.
And one of them you've already mentioned. So that's a good thing.
All right. So
And who's the other one? Another one that you've already mentioned in sort of like your list of characters. And in fact, of this one, I've got 2. One is Joshua Williamson, and the other one is Tom Taylor. And
all right.
What's I need Ben Taylor? We're going to get John.
So
Tom
Tom Taylor's is very simple. Yes, it's in relation to
Yeah. Son of Kal. Yeah. Tom
the
Token
son of Kal-El. But Joshua
Yes.
Williamson, why would I choose Joshua Williamson?
Why including him though?
Why am I including him?
Oh, right.
Well-
He's currently running the Robin series.
Yep.
It was good. It was a good series. I love the Robin series.
All right.
Which
I do
ended.
admit there
The
are
Robin
some
series,
things-
I just haven't been reading because of the status quo that set it up was just so bizarre. It's just like, hold on, you guys spent all this time getting him as far away from this world as possible. Why are you just cool with him being back in the League of Assassin Island? Like your 14-year-old son is on a Mortal Kombat Death Island. You're just cool with that. Like, it's not just him. The Bat family are cool with it. John is cool with it. Like people know he's here, and like the kid was in school not a year ago.
Yeah.
Living a pretty simple life. Like your whole thing was like teaching him how to be a person, and now you're just down. And like it kind of feels like are they trying like and they put Tim back in the Robin role and like you know like okay why because we don't know what to do with Damien.
Yeah, talk about
'Cause we're putting
regressing
Tim
Tim's
back, like-
character and
then make him want to go to jail. Fuck them up.
all right.
Like,
Let me
no.
all right. Let me explain
Keep going.
why I chose Joshua Williamson and Tom Taylor. Now, for Tom Taylor, it's pretty simple. It's got to do with his Son of Kal-El series, and this series it feels like just a reboot of the Injustice series.
Does it?
Yeah, that long.
Good.
All right.
Honestly, it's been so hard for me to
You
read this
know,
series.
all right, a lot of his storytelling carries that format. It's like the Injustice formula format that he's using in the story. For example,
The speeches.
in the Injustice series run, Jay Nakamura in the Injustice series, we had Superman's
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
key manipulator in like
Wonder
the
Woman. That
turn
was
of
a
the
character
events, which was
assassination.
Wonder Woman. Okay, let's change
That
Wonder
character
Woman.
assassination. That is not her at all.
Yeah,
And it's just like,
let's change that character to Jay Nakamura.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what Jay. I know Jay has a personality.
What personality? It's a
like,
chip.
here's the thing. Again, before I
But
say anything,
he does give off a lot of villain vibes.
oh,
Yeah.
does he? Well, I should point out, I
Okay.
myself, I'm a progressive. Bernie was another
Don't really
person.
care if you are or aren't.
I'm a progressive. I'm bisexual myself. I'm part of
Ooh,
that immigrant,
that's
and also,
cool.
yeah, and also, I also believe that superheroes have a place. Are social justice warriors. Like that is literally what they do. From the beginning, they were supposed to go into like the areas to comic books have always been a medium for talking about like big social issues in a that's what X-Men was with racism.
Yep.
But Rocket and think Green Hard Traveling Heroes did that. Rocket and
I
Icon.
kind of like it.
The problem with having John do it and Tom Taylor's run is just like that doesn't work with John. He's
It didn't make
he's
sense.
a nepotistic white savior who's coming out of nowhere. He has no history here.
Yep.
Why does he know this stuff? Where did this come from? Out of your ass. And like there's times where Tom Taylor has him talk, and yeah, that thing you mentioned, like in Injustice, where like this is just Tom Taylor speaking, using this character as a mouth.
And
wrote
that's what
this
it feels
speech.
like. The character feels like a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Only
Like,
for
John
him,
will say
not
something.
anyone else. And
Like
even
it's
the
pretty-
relationship in itself feels forced. I know I'm not the only one who's seen that. I know that there are
the
other
entire
members
series
in
of Son of
the-
Kal-El is forced.
Yeah.
The
entire narrative is
insane.
It is unearned. Everything John does in that series is unearned, forced,
Yeah.
just artificial, and it's sad because like these are moments that like, and it's the big ones. Like in the second issue where he's going to some school, not sure how, he's apparently going to a college, and the guy who you will later show would be very fast just jumps in front of a school shooting. Okay, then he drives. He grabs a car and just goes to the moon and sits. I'm just like, okay, that's three things that we could have liked to see him learn how to do on his own. When did he learn how to drive? When did he learn?
When he learned to fly.
We got to see him learn how to fly. Fair enough. And like, but like, there's just so many things like in the series. Like, Tom Taylor is clearly trying to turn John into Nightwing for Superman. Some people even say like, it doesn't really work because like 29, you got to build to a Nightwing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That takes history. That takes thing. And like you can't just, particularly with a character who was artificially turned into something.
You're stupid.
What do you think, What do you think, 29?
All right. A lot of the storytelling, it still reflects a lot of his Injustice storytelling, and it's just sort of like, am I meant to be reading a hero here or a villain? Because it feels too much like a villain than a hero.
Yeah.
And like
again, I'm having a
with,
tough time reading it.
The formula, it's just very repetitive.
Yeah.
He never raises the stakes. That's the thing.
Well,
he never raises the stakes, and I could bring that.
Is such a boring villain. He doesn't work for John. He works for Jenny Quantum for Wildstorm.
Well, here's the funny thing.
Why do you Jenny Quantum in the story? Have her be the main love interest. Fuck Jenny. Jenny Quantum be the main.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, here's another thing. Here's another problem with how they portrayed John. One of the big things we liked about John was like, and the Superboy as characters like him was just like watching them grow, develop their powers, They learn, they get stronger. With this, like from the get-go, he's just Superman but smaller.
Yep.
And that's the
Exactly.
way the artist has been drawn. And like so, like there are stakes, and like with Superman, okay, the stakes should be with Superman character saving everybody. But like that doesn't work for John. Like John has all this experience and this maturity to his voice. This almost he kind of sounds like Vision a little bit sometimes, where it's like,
Yeah, he does.
I've been around humanity for a while. I get it. I'm like 9% click. I'm like, that's not John. John, like that's one thing you give Joshua Williams credits for. He gave John his emotions back.
Yeah.
In this story, and like John sometimes his emotions, but not really. And he has this. It feels, and it's really, and yeah, it's really weird because again, and if I was ever to meet Tom Taylor, and to sum it up, I would just be like, okay, so you know how you took Rick Grayson, another status quo change that no one liked, that everyone hated,
Oh,
everyone
yeah,
like
that
terrible.
It
That,
took Dan
but, like,
Jurgens to help salvage that character.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's already
But here's the funny thing: you had Rick Grayson. That was no one liked. Everyone agrees it was terrible. You came along, Mr. Taylor, with Nightwing, and your Nightwing has been okay, pretty good. You fixed it. John aged up. Everyone agrees that status quo is terrible. I've yet to see anybody say that it was good to age him up. You took that status quo change, and you just ran with it, and that's why some people don't like it. And it's like you made you basically the equivalent of making Rick Grayson the solo Batman and a solo Batman. Like no one likes this version of the character, but then you've made him permanent. But also on top of that, no other Superman family members are really in the story. There's no Kara, there's no Steel, there's no Jimmy Olsen, there's no Tom. Again, or Jane, or like Keaton Kong. And I think the main reason is because like you put one of these characters for too long, and they're gonna start asking questions. Hey, why isn't they in charge? But also just like because John has to be incredibly mature. John is basically a Larry Sue in the story. He knows.
I don't want to give Stu.
He knows what to do, and like that's not interesting. Like the way they could have done it, and like what a character, and like he's taking over the mantle of the most popular character on the planet. What you should have done is like, I can get into that later. But Talia, you were talking. Sorry.
All right. Another thing as well with Tom Taylor's story writing, there are times where you have John being very dumb when you go to the earlier stuff, he can actually be quite smart. And you even brought up one thing as well, that he could sometimes be mature for his age. In the story,
he's 27 in the series.
Yeah.
He's like 27, 30. He is an adult. Like, and keep in mind, he's canonically 17. No, he's not.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to retcon into power that makes him look big or whatever he's with that super.
Yeah.
Actually, that'd be cute. But that would actually be a funny status quo change. Like, super Kryptonians, we have the power to make ourselves look bigger and stronger, like in Dragon Ball. It's mostly for show.
I would be all for that.
But it's like if you did that, it would at least explain why the character looks so different.
Yeah. Another thing I also disliked was his retcon between John and Nightwing.
That was clearly just Tom Taylor's writing both of them, and I want you to see John as a Nightwing. You need to.
It didn't work. That he didn't really work.
That doesn't fit.
We get John like that in a flashback, but we get to get that in the main universe. Why?
You made it up. Granted, the flashback wasn't terrible. Like that's a believable story. Like, oh yeah, you're right.
But the thing is, in John Samuel Kent continuity, like minus Tom Taylor, he has never met Nightwing. And here we go. We have him meeting up with a Nightwing of the N52 universe. So that alone tells us this isn't our John Samuel Kent.
Yeah.
Now, moving into Joshua Williamson, because I still need to address why Joshua Williamson is there. Now, I'm sure you remember the very first issue of the Robin run.
Oh, yeah.
By Joshua Williamson.
With Flatline.
Yep, linking with Flatline. And also, now, there was a bit before that, which I did actually enjoy, sort of like the prelude into it, which Joshua Williams had written, to which he ends up going to catch up with his mother. Then after that, he starts to make his way to Lazarus Island. One thing I disliked
was
All right. One thing that I disliked what they did with the character with Damien, considering how much information and how much training that Damien has had, they killed him off in the first issue. I'm
Well,
sorry, that shouldn't have
That made me
happened.
laugh. That is funny.
that was actually kind of funny. It was just like it was like it's implied that this girl is just like, and like I think her thing is that she gets powers from the dead or something like. And I was like, that was kind of funny. That was actually I give Josh credit. That was not a bad opening. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Lazarus item. You can come back 3 times. Time to wait again. Damn it! Why are we doing this? Why are you? Do your family know exactly what you're doing on this island? Like, I
No.
guess not, because I can't imagine any of them being.
Taya knew.
And also all right, the key issues that I really don't like that much are the first one and the last one. Now, there's a lot in between to which could be very
Apparently
hit
he
or
goes
miss,
to
but I
Canada
do
with the
enjoy like
program.
some of the things that, like some of the friends that he makes on the
Yeah.
island.
Kinda
I think
hot.
with that it sort of works, but once it's sort of like, okay, killing his character off at the beginning and then him killing off a character at the end. I'm sorry.
And no, that was like a big
That
thing for
that
Disney.
Well,
that that
that
already
man is
throws
dead.
his
Well, what that man is dead? He's immortal.
Oh well,
uh
then Lord dead. If that
well
if the
well
character can,
well you'll have to wait until my review on that particular issue comes out, because we only learned some things about the lore of the island, but we
yeah,
don't know how the lore of the island works with people who are immortal.
That's true.
yeah. Eh,
So who's not to say that when they turn up at the island, say an immortal person turns up at the island, they die 3 times. Last time they die, they permanently die.
I guess.
All right. So is it very possible that when they turn up at the island, and if they've died, say maybe once or twice before, and then here we have Damien kill off this character, is this a permanent death of Lord Deathman?
I doubt it.
I have no
And
idea.
if that no, if that's the case, and it actually does, right, that character is then literally gone forever.
Oh
That
no,
brings
Lord
Damien back.
Deathman is gone.
That would then make Damien back to his regress state
Oh
before
yeah, that was
even
kind of
being
odd.
possessed.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
These are some things that were not addressed that should be addressed in the story.
But
And
I guess
this
not.
is why I've got
Mother Soul betrayed what that man. Mother Soul betrayed him.
Well,
yes, but
yeah.
yes, we
I didn't really read. I didn't really get into reading Robin. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. From what I understand, while Son of Kal-El's popularity is questionable,
It's
and I get to
horrible.
that later, or because it's kind of tricky again with the way social media works. You could be in a bubble. Like most of the time when I see Son of Kal-El, people talk about it. It can be both positive, but also can be kind of negative. It generally depends on where you are. Usually some negative, and sometimes it's just haters, because thanks to Tom Taylor, John is now a target for the hateful homophobic ones. Meanwhile, with Robin, though, everyone seems to like it. Well, a majority of people seem to like the Robin series, and like
I love
and like
Robin.
apparently
We could
he's
break
14
out
now.
DC
right.
save Damian Wayne.
So
I still don't like the fact that he killed Lord Deathman.
yeah. Well, if
right?
he did do that,
But-
that's kind of the character.
But
I mean, he's dead.
you got to understand that there is information missing around
Oh, yeah.
the lore with these characters when they come to this island. Now, that's the area that I'm clearly trying to address here. Because, okay, if someone immortal comes to the island, is it very possible that they throw these characters who are immortal into a mortal being? So, does it work like a battery in a form of sense? So, or not just a battery or a magnet. You know how magnets are attracted to positive and negative.
Maybe.
All right, and
Yeah.
what if in this case you've got someone who's already immortal turn up, and this island, like another immortal character, would be considered Vandal Savage. Right? He's an immortal character. Okay, what if he turned up to the island and whilst he turns up on the island, it has the negative effect on him personally. In other words, he is no longer immortal. He
That's
loses
possible, I guess.
immortality.
Well, remember, the demon never created the island, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I understand that, but this, right, just as it has rules for the mortals who go there should also be rules for the immortals that go there.
Yeah,
All right?
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Right? So in that
Agreed.
it shows a balance. Right? It would
He
show
went
a
to
balance in
Google
the
the island.
storytelling.
He went to Google the island to kill his mother.
And not only that, it would also show that there is no favoritism with this island.
I honestly have no idea
Right?
because I didn't read the series. I didn't read much. I didn't. The bits and pieces I got of Robin were through social media, so I don't really know everything that happens. But the parts that I do, but from what you're saying is, but I'm going with what you're saying is most likely true. Then yeah, I guess it was just not very clear how it worked.
That is correct. So it would have been nicer if its descriptions were given a little bit more background to us, the reader. And who is not to say that Lord Deathman is permanently dead? Like after what Damien did to him, after what happened in the last issue. Now, if it was for myself, I would sort of use that situation to which that would be the beginning place for Damien to be possessed.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Have maybe Damien be possessed whilst he is killing Lord Deathman. That would make more sense for when people move into the Batman versus Robin series.
They'll probably retcon that happened later.
And
I
that
can
would,
see it being the case.
right? Like, even if they were to have all the fun and games beforehand and then encounter Lord Deathman, right? That would work better. And then in that time, maybe you could have Damien have a quick look in that cave. After he leaves that cave, you can see a slight change in his eyes that he's been possessed. Right? That could be shown to us, the audience. You could have one of the members that are there on the island point out, "Are you all right? You don't look like yourself." Like, even if they brought up that question, and then after that, Lord Deathman comes out, and then, right, sure, they go up and fight against him, but Damien kills him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's being killed whilst he's being possessed, and that would make 10 times better sense than what they did. It wouldn't show that the character is being sort of like regressed back to his old ways. No, it would be a little bit more honest in its approach. And it would show that, okay, something happened to Damien in that cave, but we're going to learn about that later.
We'll probably learn about it in general and Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so I think we can now move or start to move towards our number one.
No, wait. I need my number two.
Okay, then you do your number two then.
Yeah. My number two, Marvin, the same way we all know who it is. It's not Bennett. Bennett was it, I believe it. Oh boy, you should know what I'm referring to. Hang on, I'll show you.
All right, whenever you're ready, just let me know.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it up. For your number two.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom Taylor, yes.
Tom Taylor, Super Sonic Cow. What the
This
fuck
is
is
the
this
reason
series? This book fucking sucks. This is going insane.
Maybe you shouldn't before you go on, maybe pick a different picture, because the thing is, Tom Taylor's kind of been hiding behind. A lot of fans have been saying, like, if you don't like the series, it's because you're homophobic, and it's like, no, that's not why people don't like him. Like pick another. It's because it has something to do with him being homophobic. It's because one, you willed that into existence. Maybe pick a different picture other than him, the one where he's kissing his boyfriend.
It wasn't organic.
That's impossible.
No.
They keep showing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't organic at all.
It wasn't organic.
It's awful, Lady said. Fuck it awful candidate. This is not John. The John that I was smart and they're just stupid. They're the boy and knowing why, who got the idea, those fucking forced and knowing what even Taylor is forced. But look at the next man without exploding. What the fuck?
Yeah, this John is honestly, there some people have said sorry. I've often wondered if you're going to retcon, because at this point you'd have to make this series work, you'd have to retcon it out. Or you have to reckon this is a different John. This isn't because Tom Taylor isn't writing John. He's writing an OC who has Jonathan Kent's personality.
Yeah,
this is not the same character. And it's not the best way to explain it is just watch when somebody else writes John. Peter J. Tomasi. At first I was granted after Bendis' run, all right, I got adjusted. But after Peter J. Tomasi wrote that one shot where he and Robin hung out, I Tom Taylor isn't writing John. Yep. Not even a little bit. He made up actually, it's funny though. It's called Comic Pop again. Comic Pop did a video not too long ago, Superman, Son of Superman, where basically it's an old 90s story where he has a son. His name is John. And honestly, that guy is a lot closer in personality to who Bendis says to who Tom Taylor's been writing. Because it was this kind of John's kind of a lefty. It's a righty, but but again, John's been gone for 7 years. It's really weird that you put him in this role, but the way that Tom Taylor writes him, it's John has been here all his life. He's in the Nightwing category. Geez, Dad, I just don't get why you hear the way you do. It doesn't seem professional. I've been watching you for 9 minutes, and I don't. Granted, and my memories of you aren't very good because kid, a child, but still, it's really weird the way that they present. Well, son, I just kind of do what I do, and again, and also one of the main issues that Tom Taylor's run has is a very empathetic Superman. You guys get what I mean?
Yeah.
This. Well, you just do what you can, kiddo, and it's that's not Superman. Superman's whole thing is that he goes as far.
You have the hypercube right there. That hypercube right there, they got destroyed.
Yeah, it's really weird because
they
of the way
say it was destroyed, but it doesn't mean it was destroyed.
Hypercube still be alive.
So in this series though, you can see Tom Taylor. Actually, though, what's funny though, in this moment right here, Peter Tomasi makes a great point here where he's just he addresses for the first time since the age of hey, you were a kid, we lost time with you. It's just that wasn't that long ago that I was a child. In Son of Kal-El, you wouldn't know. Yeah. There was literally a person I was talking to, a fan who was I don't get it. Why don't you like the series? Okay, oh God, look down there. Right, you see that thing right there where it says Damian Wayne, Jonathan Kent, where they're pointing at their identities. I hate that now when you search for John, it comes up with that image instead of the fun kid one. But anyway, one thing that this person I was talking to said online was I don't know why you like. Do you know the history of Jonathan Kent? No, I don't. The person if you read Son of Kal-El, you don't really know that John was aged up recently. It doesn't read like a story about a character that happened. Tom Taylor isn't there. Tom Taylor isn't writing that. He's writing a Nightwing for Superman, a kid who's been around for years. And that's bullshit.
Yeah, we've already had a Nightwing. The thing is, we've already had a Nightwing for Superman. His name is called Chris Kent.
Yeah. Actually, there's two. Well, there's 3 characters though that could have filled the Nightwing role. The first one is obvious: Kara Zor-El. She's been around just as long. You put her with Batgirl, but you could put her with Nightwing too. And they're doing that in one of the series. The second version is Steel. Steel is another character who took up the Superman mantle when Clark was thought to be dead.
Mm-hmm. Do you want a kid? Oh wait, do I get evil?
We've forgotten about Steel, but you're an adult. You are just as older than Nightwing. You have experience. You can do it. Another person you could probably use, and that would be funny. Superboy Prime. Technically speaking, that would just be funny. Just he tries to be a hero, but he has no hero instincts.
Problem. As I mentioned before, Superboy Prime, he's gone. You could
retcon in that. You could even retcon in that Son of Kal-El John is actually Prime, just pretending hey, don't freak out. That I was just trying to fit in. I don't know what happened.
Well, Superboy Prime.
Well, actually, as I said, there's a problem.
You retconned in that this is Prime the whole time. I believe you.
Well, in Death Metal.
Yeah.
and became
Although it's
Andy
kind of funny
Hero.
though that in this moment though, to sidetrack to Prime, this like if I could, I would write Prime a series about Prime. I've literally made a series called The Party Shakers that I made where basically one of the characters is just Prime, but what I would do with him, where like you want to be the good guy, you don't know how, let's help you a little bit. But anyway, if you used him, it would be
But
kind of
Super
funny, just
Prime
like
became
he
good
doesn't know
guy
who John is.
in
But anyway,
sorry to do it, but
to get back on track, and the final character who I think could have been a better Nightwing for Superman is Jimmy Olsen.
wait, what?
Jimmy Olsen could have been a better Nightwing for Superman instead of John, because it's like Jimmy Olsen has actually been around longer than Dick Grayson.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, good point.
Kind of weird how he kind of like, yeah, they made a thing about he connected with crypto, and I'm just like, yeah, you look and smell like his master. It's a dog. Of course he's going to be nice to you. That wasn't really I got your still. Could you pull up Jimmy Olsen?
Mm-hmm. This made me mad. It is stupid, but what? What the fuck? Like, you're telling me, you're not gonna a guy who's smiling with a heart exploding. The guy, the manipulative actor, the guy, the guy followed with.
Bullshit.
Tevia.
Oh, actually, Tevia, it's explained here what happened. It's a really weird moment. They're at the Kent house, and someone attacks the house because in a stupid story, it was revealed. But anyway,
I know.
But anyway, time is basically stopped in this moment. In that moment, John is moving so fast that time is basically stopped. And just like another thing we didn't get to see John learn how to do, he can just do the super speed time stop thing. Like, great. Yeah. So there are no threats for him now, right?
But he's fine because
like that's
a villain face, not hello.
No. In this moment, in that moment, it's a second. Like time has stopped. Jay doesn't know what's happening. The house just blew up. John recognizes him with super speed.
He does know.
Like he did admit later on that he knew that Finger had been taken.
Oh, okay. Okay, again, I'm having a tough time reading this series. And like it's funny, this is one of the series where like I'm so mad at the status quo and what you've done with him that like I can't even enjoy your occasional funny moments. But it's just like and like the relationship feels very like there are times where it feels like Jay is the main character sometimes.
He is the main character, he's a villain. He's
like,
manipulating my from the beginning.
Like they're seriously trying to do this thing, like this relationship, this thing, like this is such a ham-fisted like when did John discover he was bi? Like when I was 9, it took me a while to
bullshit. Like circle. That is a villain. He's manipulating.
Yeah, they're really trying to see like he's an anti. You can't always trust him. Ooh, and also Tom Taylor said something that's kind of demeaning, where it's like, "Hey, this Superman's Lois Lane doesn't need to be rescued." And it's like
bullshit.
Like none of you, but still, when I was discovering that I was bi, and by the way, this is the most mature. How old is this man? Like, look at the way they're drawing him. How old is this adult? But anyway, like that is. But anyway,
that's Street's villain.
Yeah. So when I was coming out as bi, like it took a while for me to figure it out because, like, okay, I like girls, but I also like guys. That's a kind of weird thing. John grew up in a cave, being messed with by
a madman.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So like, why does he have that? But anyway, Jimmy Olsen would be like, here's the story. Superman has to leave for a while. Hey, Jimmy, here's one of the random Silver Age gadgets that made you me. You can be Superman for a while. Or like, because like you've been around. If you look it up, Jimmy Olsen's been around longer than Dick Grayson. That's
a Silver Age.
Yeah, so like no, the same amount of time, like a few years ago. It's like he's the Nightwing, he's the Robin or Nightwing character for Superman. He's the one that's usually so like that.
Oh yeah, Mr. Action. There's a countdown to final fight. It was horrible.
Yeah, that was a weird moment, but still, it could have been. What they should have done is a thing where like Jimmy Olsen is the one who's taking it, and or like at least have him like helping John, teaching John things. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Olsen hasn't been John, but has no mentor. He has no teacher. The closest dad, like that's a very weird relationship you've established. Still, like, do you guys think Jimmy Olsen would have been a better or new replacement?
I would accept Jimmy Olsen over
for the Superman mantle. Like that could have worked better than just giving it to John.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't he just giving it to John. He went sideways. Cool.
I'd have no problem even if they used Connor.
Yeah, like
Connor Kent. I think Connor Kent would have been better because number one,
Yep.
He has had a
Way more experience.
got more story than
He's
actual
older.
John Samuel Kent. Yes, the character
He should
is
be
older
stronger.
than him.
Yeah,
I should mention this. He should be, but keep in mind, with the way they're doing it, they might either not show anything or like John's a little stronger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
There's
at
another
least
one. Like, yeah, it could have been Jimmy. It could have been Jimmy.
not only
But
that,
also, like,
yeah,
but also,
I know this happened.
Yeah.
Huh.
he's
Interesting.
also a reader favorite for many.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Here's an
And-
idea.
There's
Remember that
Chris.
Grant Morrison run where Nightwing and Damian became Batman and Robin?
yep,
Yeah.
That could have been
Why?
Connor and Kid John. There you go. Connor's Superman. He
I've been
graduates.
saying that for years. In fact, hang on.
Everything that
so
they've done to John should have been done to Connor.
yep.
But
Like
we
it
got
would've-
that in Young Justice. It's great.
Kinda. Yeah. Everyone
Yep.
agrees like that was the better idea. They wanted to see these two interact, and so we
Yep.
didn't.
And
Like,
that would have been 10 times better than what they've given us.
Justice would have.
This
Oh,
never happens. It's really weird that this never happened. That little go back to that where his eyes are angry.
You mean this with John with
Does
this
that
abomination?
ever happen? I tapped out of
No.
Bendis like that never happens, right? Total
No,
fake out.
This never happened. This is bullshit. But it infuriated me. I get too angry about it when it announced, and this made me mad. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
It's bizarre.
Oh,
So-
hi, New 52.
Oh.
John Wayne
Oh,
Kent.
here's the
Went
thing.
psycho.
Here's another thing that you could do if you want to retcon something. Okay, New 52 Superboy. He's been gone for like ever. That's
Yeah,
who
he's
this
gone.
is. He got his mind rewritten. That's who this is, and he technically is the offspring of Superman and John. You like that's the retcon I'm
He's
planning on.
technically
if I ever
the
get to-
clone of Superman Lord's son who went evil
Yeah,
and
that New
psycho.
52 Superboy is very, very complex.
It was a mess. It made no fucking sense.
But still,
It a mess
that
of
would
character.
work better than what we have.
Look at this shit.
agreed.
Yeah. This
I
would
think
make
this was like a
sense.
Superboy Prime moment because if you look at all the dead heroes behind him, I think it's supposed to be like a Superboy Prime moment.
I think it's a dream.
Not only
It was
that-
all a dream.
Not only that, it would also make better of what they showed future state wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of future
Like-
state, that one
Now
makes
I know
no
we're
sense.
not in.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
that
Adorable.
is a
Oh yeah, type in
it-
Connor Kent and John Kent. It's a lot of great images.
yeah. What with,
Yep, like
yeah,
this
with
one.
what they did
Look,
in
this.
future state.
Big Brother. That's all people wanted.
That's
Yeah,
all we
I
wanted.
want it.
Look at that.
Aw.
Cute.
Tiny.
Yep.
An
It
inverse
would
of
be
what
so
Tim and Damien
cool.
have. An inverse of what
Yeah.
Tim and Damien have, or like Connor is the
Yep.
older brother that John never had.
Yeah, they could have done exactly
come on, come
how
on.
the Bat family does things, and
Yeah, and it's
like,
really
shown
weird.
it like a Bat family, but in this case, it's done with the Superman family,
Yeah, look at
Look
that.
at that.
and it would have been so much better than what our number ones are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So are we now?
we
ready
want
to move-
this. That could have been great. What the?
Yeah.
What the
yeah, that would have been really cool.
Yep,
That's the new
so-
Superman. That's Robin.
Why?
And that's the new
Yeah.
Superman. That's the new Superboy.
Not
Instead-
this. No one wanted this bullshit. Not me. Not like nobody.
Yeah, and it's just like, and like they're trying to make this thing work with Nightwing. It's not working. But also just like, they've basically made it so that. Oh wait, you see that picture right there where he's doing the protest? Down. Scroll down,
Yeah.
scroll down.
Wait, which one?
Go
Oh,
down,
that
go down.
was
Scroll down,
absolutely
scroll down.
horrendous having that.
That one with the protest,
Uh,
right? No, up. That one where he's holding the signs. The picket
Oh
signs.
yeah. This
Okay.
bullshit.
Here's why this doesn't. Here's the thing: it's worth mentioning. Yes, he can't just go blow on the solar ice caps. But one, not a lot of people know that. Two, you have Mr. Taylor. You've basically made it so that you've basically made it that John is Clark's equal in every way in the series. You basically established at the beginning he is Superman too. That just looks bad. That's just not a good look.
Yeah.
Why
Also,
is he?
issue 8, it followed up the entire issue. But here's the thing, that producer did not have any.
Oh yeah.
You have to
What really
comment.
bothers me is just like, and everyone is
You
just
just
so
played a giant
cool.
monster.
Yeah, like what bothers me is just like everyone is just so cool with, hey, my son was gone for a while. He's back. He was 13 last time we saw him. He was 10. Now he's 17. I gave him the mantle. Bye.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah, he go to the
You've abandoned him 3 times now.
The war world. Like in
Yeah,
Action
and
Comics, she made the amazing.
that is
I
the
got
most
Action Comics
clearly
amazing.
forced.
So that was crap.
But what's funny, the worst part about it is like about that whole thing is just like there's the moment where Nightwing finds out about John's backstory and that tie-in. Nightwing's reaction should be, wait, what?
Issue 9.
Why didn't Clark say anything to me about this? You should be really messed up in the head. Oh, geez, kid, I should help you. Nightwing's reaction is like, well, shit happens sometimes. Like, no, like the reaction to John's backstory, which doesn't come up very often, is really messed up. And like it's kind of 11 to 16. Like that's worse than any backstory you can
drop it.
You should be messed up in your head. Like they're just not doing it. And the sad part is though, like you can't do it. If you were to actually realistically show how this would mess a person up in the head, that would ruin John's character. He would be angsty, broken, emo. But like, and I don't want that. At the same time, to just bring it up and ignore it, like it happened. Oh well.
You can't ignore this. You can't ignore trauma.
Yeah, it's like
not like this. This is bullshit.
Yeah, so like either and like what? And here's the satisfying moment: Red Lantern ring randomly Atrocitus just shows up on the planet and happens to be dealing with the Kryptonians. He randomly says like, "This kid's got something locked away in his head," and John just unloads the, "Hey, I was suppressing a lot of crap."
Yeah.
Or like just address it, but like Tom Taylor tries to, but like really, Tom Taylor isn't writing John. He's writing his own OC. I hate the way that he interacts with Batman.
You how being on the planet, so I don't like it. And then John.
I really don't like the way. I don't like the way that he has John interact with Batman at all. It is just
it's not John's character the way he interacts with
and the way he just waves Batman with Batman true bullshit. Jay is not here with a villain. Jay go for the revolutionaries.
And the way he has the way it's got this whole vibe of like, because John's whole personality throughout the series is like if you were to sum up Son of Kal-El in one sentence, it'd be like the old ways are dead. It is time for something new. That is the summary of this entire series. And like whenever Batman kind of shows up, it's like, well, I know that this is how you used to do things, Batman, but now, like, wait, you just sneak into places? What? That doesn't make sense. Like, your best friend does that exact thing. You've known that. You've known them long enough. You know that this is what they do. But like, also, you know something about Ryan. What are you, like the detective or something?
This?
Oh, right.
I guess crazy.
So this interaction was really kind of odd. You retconned in how the two of them are. This is how they met. Like, granted, I like seeing young John again, and like this wasn't out of character for anybody.
I just want to do it in the main universe. It's not fair.
Like, but because of that, but it's kind of funny because of that, it's like, oh, Nightwing, you're actually my favorite hero. Since when?
Never mentioned before. Yep.
Like, I get it. Like, there's retconning, and then it's just like, you need these two to be friends.
Yeah.
You clearly want these, like, Nightwing, son,
One thing I think would have been really better with this is instead of retconning the past, like start each character with a fresh slate.
Yeah.
So you could say, Damien referred me. Damien and my father referred me to
granted,
you.
Yes. And the Nightwing one,
so
granted,
you have
so
you have the beginning of a new, fresh relationship. Not this retcon bullshit that they did between Nightwing and Son of Kal-El bollocks.
Yeah, and you know what? In Tom Taylor's credit, he does in fact have Superman go to Dick and Nightwing, just be like, "Hey, my son's gonna be taken over for reasons," and said, "I'm not going to tell you. Keep an eye on him." Yeah. Like, I imagine he probably did that for everyone in the superhero community.
Yeah,
because like, hey,
and there was no need for that retcon.
No, I just hope you find me again.
Like the way John's talking about, like Nightwing's reaction in this moment is so wrong. It should be like, wait, what? When did this happen?
Some people
did no one tell?
Yeah, and
a
number of the people as well do bring up the way how this story is done. Even with the lollipop, it makes him look like a creepy, you know what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just like
that's not what you want to do with either of these characters.
yeah, and the worst part about
Also,
like
never
these are our
noticed
sons.
he's on
They're the
double.
same. No, they're not. But the worst part, but you know what's really funky is like Nightwing should have walked out of the room, said, "I gotta go call the Titans real fast." Hey, can we keep an eye on John? I think he's like 2 seconds from snapping.
Yeah.
There's something really wrong here. Also, and like there should be a scene, and there's not gonna be one, where like at some point, Nightwing just goes off on both Bruce and Clark about what terrible parents they are. Just yells like,
bullshit.
"You abandoned your kid 3 times. You are you like you both kind of raised me. It's a miracle that I turned out all right. You have screwed up both of these kids, and Clark, I am disappointed at you. I expected Bruce to screw it up, but Clark, what the hell? You abandoned your kid at least 3 times for stupider reasons each time." And like it's just like, yeah. Granted, this was a nice. It was a nice moment.
Got lost. I just kept getting more lost. Aw, like not fair. Like
this is actually a nice enough moment. I'll give it this. This is a nice
smile, but
moment.
it's just Taylor. You can see your junk head right now, and it's right on all the bullshit I was just forget your Janagamur, forget your tail standing up for years. Just give it the junk head. That's the junk I don't love. That's the one I want to fall. Not your terrible.
You know what's funny though?
Ratgun Fred, I don't want the ball. Like fuck.
The main issue I have with like some call out, if you want to take it, if you wanted to make it work, fine. But let John be a teenager, like make him actually sound like how a teenager sounds. Like, for example, he is constantly nervous. He is 17. You know what he's doing, and like he can do certain things.
I want anime of that.
That's cute. Like, do a thing where like he is constantly questioning how he acts instead of this unstoppable confidence and experience that he shouldn't have. But also like do a story. Okay, in the first issue, do the whole news thing instead of just like I want to be a good Superman. And like Clark gives him the title not because you've earned it, son, but because like I screwed up royally. Hey, you said you wanted to be Superman, right? Last time I saw you, yeah, you can be Superman now. That's great. And like make it so that between John and his parents, it's weird. They don't know how to talk to each other anymore.
Give me that moment right here with the door. What the fuck?
That would be really good. Instead, they're just super close. Like, I love every part of you, son. Like, why are you two so close? And then do a thing where like John, you want to introduce Jay? Fine. John randomly discovers Jay's news thing through somebody. Make the story about like information. You want to do a modern storytelling? Make the story about getting all your information from one source. He randomly discovers the truth and like, I'm a Superman. I can go do that. Hey, I listened to you once. It worked. I listened to you again. It worked. I'm getting praise. Clark left. I'm in charge. It's all good. And then one day I screw up royally. Like it just. Jay
Nakamura manipulate John.
No, it's just like Jay gives him wrong information. John screws up royally. The entire world is like, oh no. Then they're like, wait a minute. Oh no, Superman got his information from this place. This kid's a troublemaker. Or SJW Superman. Just put that in the thing because you're gonna get called that anyway. And then like John is wrong, and it hurts. And then like he, like a teenager, goes to his room and hides because he's a boy. But then the other heroes show up, like Nightwing. Like, hey, come on, you're not the first one to get it wrong. You've got it. Like Lois just says, like, hey, I got it wrong. You're like the Superman family comes. The other hero's like, hey, you want to come? We're doing this. Superman, like he earns it. We Peter Parker him a little bit. It's just like make it seem like he didn't just you're Superman now. Not have him actually earn it. Because because honestly, this Jay Nakamura thing,
he's a villain.
This version is
simple.
And the way they handle Damian Wayne sometimes works. Sometimes he sounds like Tim Drake, but like, okay, you remember that these two are best friends. It's a little weird when they're interacting. Yeah. Granted,
it doesn't make any sense. You got the weight issue. I need to go to weight issue because the weight issue drove me nuts. Because
so I guess we're gonna get to number 1 now.
Are we all ready to move to number 1?
Not yet. Okay. There's one thing I do want to tell you.
What?
2 things. 1, Gossamer. What the fuck is Gossamer? That name is stupid.
Who?
that Jay Nakamura's new name.
Jay's hero name.
What Blossomer? Oh yeah, I'm convinced that you. I honestly, at first, I was just like, okay, so you wrote so Tom Taylor wrote a series about a young Clark Kent where he's a little bit more socially active. This was supposed to be Lois Lane. Now I'm starting to think you wrote a story about an independent hero called Gossamer, and you figured you could work him into the series. And granted, because I did a similar thing when I made a fan series about Superboy Prime. I worked in my own OC team, but like this feels very ham-fisted and very forced. While like the relationship happened like that, like. In bisexual relationships, it's tricky. Like, when did John discover he was bi? When Tom Taylor learned that he could use that for attention?
Yep.
Like, when did he discover it? And like, even in his LGBT, even in his Pride edition, it's just Pride's a party. Come on, Damien, let's fly above the clouds. Like with my new cape, because I'm the new gay face. I'm like, that's kind of offensive. We're still getting attacked, actually. But still,
offensive.
Like, when did you discover this, John? When you were in the future? When you were here? When did you like? How did that happen?
Fuck this relationship. Fuck this awful ending.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. Let me kiss my boyfriend again.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
That particular story was badly written, and when I reviewed it, it did not get very high praise.
This broke me.
But one of the better stories that I did actually like in it,
Tim Drake's.
No,
not so much, but in relation to the Super Sons, because
there's history.
Because remember, we are talking Super Sons here, not.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I did actually like
by the way,
Damian
total missed
Wayne
opportunity.
and Connor story. You know, the one that which they were going to try to use to make.
Oh yeah, there was going to be a thing where like he's based. You know what? There's not
that story came off way better than the other one.
Is Damian Wayne ace now too? No, they can't be. He has
no. It wasn't. It wasn't having to do with Damian's sexuality. It was having to do with Connor's sexuality. Hawk's sexuality.
Okay, no one has used Connor Hawk in half a decade. It doesn't really matter.
And
so whatever Connor Hawk is,
what it was very short, straight to the point. Didn't pull no punches. But it did feel way more organic than what they did for John.
Yeah, like with John, it very much feels like we have a new face. He's the new It Boy. He's our new cat. And like you really and like and the worst part is like you got real homophobes out here coming for John. Like he's the gay one. Like he's not gay. He's bi. There's a difference. And
it's bad.
Now he's targeted by homophobes. He's targeted by just like he's the new wave of character. Like John is a new character.
There are even people in the LGBTI community that also hate what they've done to John, and that's true. Some like it, some hate it. And that's understandable because you will have a bit of a balance between there. You've got some people who are unsure about if it was like really a good decision or not.
Yeah, it feels very marketing.
If anything, it feels more like let's just slave brand this character as this.
That's not
and even that funny. Too is wrong, right? No person should be slave brand as. I don't know, where it's like Nazi, neo-Nazi. Let's just for a couple of examples, because I'm sure with the political climate, there are people who get branded as something and they're not that at all, right? That falls into character assassination, and it doesn't mean that they are those things. Just as there's people who are considered anti-Semite, but not everyone is an anti-Semite, which is also true. But you will find some people who are, but not everyone is. Some.
By the way, I found Ant-Man screenshot right now.
Right, and this is the fallacy with that branding, which has come out. And
I found Ant-Man talking about. I found it.
Yeah.
I'm screenshot right now.
All right.
By the way,
this in my view is bullshit because I've been having Barry the main bad guy and then he gets thrown into space by Lex Trooper. What point, Bendix?
Oh. Yeah, that was the Bendix character was such a weird addition. It's just like, here's the thing. I gave him his own Lex Luthor, right? He's Superman now. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, first, Lex Luthor's Lex Luthor's. I get it. Bendis ruined John. His new supervillain is named Bendis. Okay, good for you, Tom. You get a carrot. Lex Luthor's reaction to Jonathan Kent should be. I don't even know what Bendix's thing is. I don't care. But Lex Luthor's reaction to Jonathan Kent should be the same way Joker reacts to Robins. You don't matter.
Yeah.
You're a non-entity. You're a child.
Yep.
I don't care about you. Your dad is gone. You won't hear from me.
Yep.
Instead, it's like, oh, another adversary to play, for you are also my opponent. Like, no, Lex Luthor. If you want to get John back, here's another way you can get John back. Lex Luthor kills him. Lex Luthor kills his version.
That's not a bad idea. I'll be all for that.
And what's funny, and you know the funny way you could do it, Lex Luthor. It's not because John is changing things, even though John is doing the very thing that Lex Luthor said he would kill Superman for doing. But who cares? It's not because John is changing.
John need power now.
Like the reason is because as Lex is like, hey, Black Manta and Joker told me that they killed both of their proteges' kids. I haven't killed mine. Can't have them be better than me. You got to die now. Bye. Like it has something to do with you. You don't matter to me, John. And
That
then
is a fair point.
Huh?
That is a fair point.
Like Lex Luthor would totally do that solely because like he's petty like that, but also just like, oh, Clark, here's a clone of your son with all the memories from before you screwed up. Or heck, even retcon that Lex Luthor has been gaslighting Clark from the start, from the beginning of the Bendis run, just retcon, it was me. I fucked it up. The reason the storytelling was so terrible because I was making things up and your dumbass fell for it. But anyway, the point is, in the end, here's your actual kid. I've had him in stasis the whole time. All you got to do is hit this button that makes the whole world forget you ever existed. Because also your identity is public, and that's bothering me. And unfortunately, the story about it was terrible.
Are we ready to go on to number one?
Wait. There's one more thing I do want to bring up. I did a screenshot for a second. I need to bring up this.
All right.
What is it?
That's something that's hilarious. To have. Apparently, John need power now, which is wait.
I don't know what this is all about.
Yeah,
they gave him like lightning vision or something.
Yeah, that's actually the final issue of Summer Camp be able to Honey Bennett.
It's just like you're not a character I care about anymore, Jonathan. Your development used to really interest me. It was great, but now I just want to see you get your ass kicked.
It makes no sense. Why did they new power? Where did new power come from?
If anything, if we look at this sort of feels like Tom Taylor bringing back in what happened in Super Sons of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, solar flare.
And yeah, that solar flare thing.
Oh yeah, that ability. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like just to try to hit our heartstrings with the character. And I'm sorry, it's just not working.
Speaking of Taylor, we did
I'd rather Peter J. Tomasi be on that than Tom Taylor be on that. He's earned his cred. Peter J. Tomasi has earned his cred. Tom Taylor, you're losing your cred.
Honestly, this Son of Kal-El has made me question Taylor as a writer because, like, Injustice is just Kingdom Come, but with slightly worse people.
But the Seed are like, good. The Seed bug amazing.
But also, like, I'm questioning all the other things that Tom Taylor is writing just because Deceased, John, ironically, is like better. Yeah, you grew up. Yeah. It makes more sense when you're a bit mature there. But with this version, like, no. But and also, here's another idea. If you want to give John new powers, Weather Boy powers. How? So, the kid is when he was growing up normally, he absorbs too much solar energy. He goes into the atmosphere to release it. Okay, heat. He learns about in the school he used to go to. Oh, that's bad for the environment. Okay, but I also have frost breath. I have from my super breath. I'm studying it. I have supervision. I can see the water. I'm practicing. Hey, Dad, check this out. I can kind of make a rain cloud. I can use it so precisely that just above the cloud, there's a little cloud appear above of this little patch. Just call me Weather Boy. Like, and that's how John is different from the others ones. Like you can, and like that's an idea. It's just something other than, and like maybe his powers are different because like he's half human. He's more in tune with the planet. That's a different idea. That makes him different. That actually makes him separate from his dad, and that could also feed him to the whole. Oh, I care about the planet a bit more than you do, maybe.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you guys read that? Did you guys read the Tom King one shot with Superman?
Yes,
Yes.
you're talking the Wilson
It's a
Fields
Dark
Justice League
Crisis.
Superman.
Dark Crisis Worldwide
Crisis?
Dedication, man. By the way, speaking of
Yeah.
I did find it interesting. I did one more thing I'll bring up. We got a new villain.
Yeah, go for it.
Right now.
All right.
What is it? What's the last thing from Sonic that you don't like?
Well, it's not exactly.
What's
It's not something new.
It's actually starting to come with one of the upcoming new ones.
Yeah, it's a
Red
new villain,
King.
Red Sin.
Oh god.
Let me.
This entire series needs to be retconned out of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
The
we'll still have the
character-
memories.
The villain alone
I put
reminds
my own
me of
tweet
Red
said,
Cloud.
It's Red Sin ready to Red Cloud.
Yeah.
And I got no answer yet.
Of
Yeah.
course not. I doubt it, but just like watching you
Yeah.
Tom Taylor talk about how excited he is and how much he loves the series. And it really sucks. It's just like there are probably people who like this series, and it's just seeing these scenes where like John and Clark are Supermaning together, just it feels so empty. It feels so unearned. Like,
it feels unearned. That's
yeah,
the sad part. This
relationship's
could have been
not
earned.
this
This could have worked if we got this development naturally.
like,
But no.
why are you two so close? You two should have a very strained relationship or complicated one. Like, it just doesn't feel real. It feels
Yeah.
like I need them to get along. I can't use the Bendis crap,
Yeah.
although I am making the Bendis crap all but permanent.
Even though you know
Because
I
now
think
the world
that's
knows.
That's what kind of existence. You'll be happy. I mean, actually, kind of one by bit which okay, I need to bring this up again because I need to bring this up. I know, I'm taking a lot of time, and I'm sorry, but I need to bring this image up. It's the image that actually bombed me. Actually, one by bit.
What is it?
Hang on. I think I can find this here.
Are we going to finally move into number one?
Yeah, we'll move number one when I find the image.
What is it?
No.
Oh, you mean the one that shows a young John in it?
Yes.
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, that one.
Great.
Here it is.
What
That
about
is an awesome cover.
You know?
Yeah,
I wanna
it's
get that.
hey, give us back
I
the
don't want to
things
make
we
it from
want.
what young John got big of it. Why would you do? That's what I don't get.
Some artists always do that. Like, they'll make him look younger. Like, if I was forced to use Seneca L. John, all right, fine. He's younger. He's smaller. He sounds like a kid. Fight me.
No.
But just like, because,
Right. That John, that's my John. That's my boy. It's not fair.
yeah, we know.
All right, then.
All right,
I guess
so we
it's
can get to number
time
one.
to move to
Yeah,
our
let's go
number
number
one,
one.
to which I'm guessing it's all Bender. All
Yeah,
Bendis?
it's all Bendis.
Yep. It's Bendis.
So, yep, we've got Brian
Yeah,
Michael Bendis for number one. And
All I can say about this is that according to history, Bendis is the reason Bendis gets away with all the stuff he does. He's apparently the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So apparently that's why people don't hold grudges against him for the things he does, because he has a tendency to just screw over creatives in left and right because he's very nice. And it's just like, also, for what it's worth, he clearly didn't want to shit the bed with these things. He had 4 runs. He clearly didn't want to do, if he was not like them. Clearly, and like he should have been maybe on Batman or something, because like you can hear him talking about it. But what most likely happened is he's had a story for Superman, but that required a certain status quo. So he rewrote the status quo to make it fit, and didn't really care what he had to get rid of or ruin.
A bad status quo, not one.
Yeah. The
Event Leviathan. Fuck that event. It was crap.
The
Event Leviathan had to deal with Damian Wayne.
Okay. Leviathan, that should have been Tim Drake. Tim Drake is the smart detective one. Why did you use Damian?
Because Tyler
on the
was
team
also
of detectives.
on the
Also, why did you use Plastic Man when you should have used Elongated Man? He's a detective. Oh, and you resurrected Manhunter. A whodunit story should be someone. Yeah, here's the thing.
Mark Shaw Manhunter.
Mark Shaw, that guy. I forgot he was so fit.
Yeah.
You've been action comics.
Yeah, a whodunit. He tries to set up this whodunit mystery. This like could be anyone. Who is Leviathan? There's like, okay, a whodunit needs to be someone you can guess, not someone you can Google. Something you have to Google. Like, you had to look up this character that no one knows about Bendis. How do you know about him, honestly? Because you don't do research.
Yeah.
it's like, okay. And like, by the way, I don't think one thing I can say honestly is like, I don't think anybody likes what Bendis did to Superman.
No
Like,
one
I have
did.
yet to see
That's
it.
something
Like,
good.
I scour. I spend my time looking through comments. I spend my time looking around. I ask. I check. No, I've maybe found 3 people who said like, I kind of liked it. It was okay, but everyone else just agrees like, this sucked. He ruined it. You ruined.
Yep.
To quote Superboy Prime, you ruined it. You ruined everything.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, this is just a little joke I made up. Superboy Prime was right.
Yeah, he
Like,
was like
sometimes
for once.
comic book companies need to be fixed.
Yeah, all be eradicated and blown up. Wait,
Like,
maybe a little
wow.
bit extreme.
Man of Steel was
Very extreme
okay
itself.
until about issue 3 to 4, and then
Issue
it
6
just
broke me. Issue 5, issue
it
6
just
broke everything.
Yeah, it's like,
it shite
and
the
it's
bed.
funny. I guess think it's because he's famous. He's a famous comic
Yeah.
book wise. He's famous, and like because like all 4 runs, I didn't hear anything good about them. And
Remember Naomi? That got TV show. Oh wait, it got canceled. They don't
didn't it
think
get
of Naomi.
canceled?
She's a born character.
Well, I mean, it was made for TV. That's why.
It bombed.
But well, in
You
all
know,
fairness,
actually
like
do the book. Without sucked.
he made the book. He made the book was clearly made to become a series. Like fair
It
enough.
failed.
In the comic book world, it's tricky. It's like fair enough. Get your money. Try to get your thing on. But like, bro, at least try. Put some effort. Like her powers were never really explained because like, what's easy for us to do in a CW show? What exactly is her backstory? What does the villain look like? Let's wait for the CGI to figure it out. And but what's funny with Bendis,
and guess how it ended with Naomi?
the thing is,
The TV show garbage. No, the actor. Actually, I might try Naomi.
his Man of
She
Steel
tried her
stories
best.
was. So,
I'm not the actor. She did her best. What she did.
it's funny though. It's funny.
Mine
The Man of Steel
way.
miniseries that he launched as ahead of time, which should have just been a test run, just like, can he write it? No one liked it. Oh crap! And,
Yeah.
like, the only thing he learned about that was that like, okay, we can't have Clark cheat on Lois with some new woman. Gotcha.
Yep.
But we can still do everything. But also, like, the art is actually pretty good. It's just a shame it's wasted on this terrible story. Seems to be a running gag in comics, actually. But also, how do you go from writing 4? Let's call it even mediocre stories. 4 mediocre stories,
story, in my opinion.
and it's just like you do that. I don't remember hearing good things about any of them. Then you get elevated to writing Justice League, and like you're kind of
what?
Like, how do you?
Who wanted him on Justice League?
Well, like he went from writing, like say, like the Superman, no. Action Comics, no. Well, Legion of Superheroes, I didn't hear anything.
Young Justice.
I don't think good.
Hell no.
And his Young Justice was apparently also not very good either, because like
No,
I don't
wasn't.
remember anyone liking it.
Sucked. It was crap.
And like the reason again, it's Bubble. Maybe everyone loved it. And like, granted, yeah, he brought characters back who've been dead for a while. No one had touched these guys in a while. Fair enough. But clearly, you didn't need it either.
Flash War. In Pokemon Flash War with his BS. Like
here's
he's giving Flash. Connor had been missing.
The worst part is
find Connor Kent.
The worst part is poor Connor Kent has just been somewhere else, and like he never bothered trying to come home. I don't even remember what the context was where he's been. But also, this Legion of Superheroes thing was really weird because that whole thing. Okay, so I just missed out on seeing my kids growing up from like 11 to 16. I missed all of it. He's back. And the last time I just let him leave with somebody, that happened. I'm going to let these random strangers show up and say, hey, we want to take your city to the future. Yeah.
Which was bullshit. That drove me mad.
Like, he's left again? That was so bizarre.
Into the future?
It's like, because Bendis wants to put him on the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
And
There's no need for him to be thrown on it.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. Legion of Superheroes, I know I keep bringing him up. You could have used Superboy Prime with that too. It's just like, hey, he's back. No one really remembers him, and because he's from a previous era, and like he's trying to become a good guy again. Okay, put him here. The Legion and of characters who either know about him or maybe they want to help him, or maybe Prime is back. Everyone in the present knows and is terrified and hates him. The Legion don't know him in the future. Yeah. They just send him there like that, or like just send Connor there. Like that would have been ruining John just to write your new series. and that is what you did. Full stop.
Yep.
And it wasn't even very
Oh
good.
yeah, Tim. I want to show something about you that really pissed me off. Can I show you?
Like,
Tim.
Yeah.
And also it's a real shame because he also got to write Detective Comics number 1000. Also, yeah,
Why?
that moment where he revealed his identity. Why again did he reveal his identity again?
Yeah. It's issue 18. This was stupid. Like
19,
It was.
29. Why did he 29? Why did he reveal his identity again?
No, it
Remember
wasn't
why?
29. It
Really
was
stupid.
in the teens that it came out. So 19 to 22.
Yeah, it issue 18, which is stupid.
Yes, a very big moment in Superman's history was ruined and here's the funny part. Clark Kent is a fundamental part of Superman. It's a fundamental part.
Yeah.
But when Bendis was writing it, you could tell Bendis didn't care about Clark Kent. He didn't walk Clark Kent around. He didn't think Clark Kent was important. He basically ruined Clark Kent's entire life and status quo.
This drove me mad.
Even Clark Kent was not the main character of his own story.
He wasn't around anymore. And what's really telling, like, you could tell Bendis was reshuffling things to get to a status quo he could work with, and like even then, the story wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Not only that,
Bullshit.
not only that, he also emasculated Clark
He did?
Kent as well. Why? Because
He did.
if you look at the Man of Steel, what happened
yeah.
in that?
The relationship with
Virgo
Walt was
was
always
wait,
really
lightning
beat
rod.
some crap out of Clark Kent or Superman. Oh, and in comes Kara Zor-El to help save the day.
Oh yeah, with Logo's on.
What?
Yeah,
Logo Zard is a Lobo ripoff. I feel like
when-
at some
when
I don't
is
think
Virgo Zar gonna punch bloody Kara Zor-El in the face? Oh, we won't have that. Oh, but she runs to one big excuse. Oh, let's bring in the phantom projector.
yeah.
Yep, what she does.
And what's funniest about that is that in classic Bendis fashion, whenever Bendis does something that is like, that was bad writing, like, I know. Bendis already said, like, that was kind of cheap. You kind of just got rid of the problem with the MacGuffin box. Like, that's kind of cheap. Like, probably shouldn't have found a better. Oh, well. And it's like, what are you doing? But also, poor
that's my video.
Poor Superman's other dad. Superman's other dad. Oh, yeah. This reuniting of the Superman and family. Superman, Superboy, Supergirl. That was like, it's so rare that the team works together. Like, no. One, because Bendis is writing it. So he couldn't write them before. He can't write them now. Like, it's just like, this whole thing was just a mess.
It was.
And like, it sounded just like,
This
but you know what?
This broke me.
Yeah.
This was crap.
It's like, this is so bad. It's disrespectful to Lois Lane because like Lois Lane has been around since the beginning. She can handle space. She was also a really good mother.
Abandoned her own son in space.
Yeah, like this is the same woman who put on a Hellbat suit to fight. To fight the Eradicator. She couldn't handle space. Like, oh, he didn't need his mother and face with this stranger who somehow convinced both of us to let him stay up there.
Yep.
And Clark's reaction was,
I think Bendis did well. Are you high? Like, okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, but like, here's the worst part. Like, Clark's reaction to that should have been like, okay, where's John though? In space with his father, with his grandfather. Where is he though? Where location? I have friends in the Green Lantern Corps that they can't find him. The writer keeps forgetting that they exist. But anyway, the point is like, where's my kid? Oh well. Also, you're my wife, right? Why are we just sleeping together casually? It's weird that you were hiding from when I came back. What's up with that? But anyway,
about to change the message was that he did away with the whole thing early on his run. We did that change while you can make it better. Fuck you! No. Are you high CBR?
No, calm down. He outright said that this was a mistake.
No.
One of the things he didn't do well was his early treatment of Jonathan Kent. His whole treatment.
That's true.
We can all agree that was terrible.
We did that he would make it better. Bullshit. Make it better, my ass. That's fucking
weird details. Well, keep in mind, CBR can't outright say this was a dumb idea. But they've made multiple series that say like, hey, bring him back. Of course, they also do an issue about, okay, yeah, plot time to development. He didn't. He clearly was trying to. He clearly wanted to reset the status quo from the get-go and didn't really care or how he did it. Like, and like Rogozar, I want to see Rogozar get beat up by Lobo. Just like, Rogozar, I used to pants that guy.
Yeah, that was funny.
Is he still alive? I thought I killed him. Like that's just like
I wish that I already funny.
Like Dennis clearly wanted us to think Rogozar was cool.
He was.
It was a terrible idea when he brought him in.
Yeah, like
he wanted all of his villains to be memorable. Whether it was Red Cloud, the Invisible Mafia.
The weird irony though was apparently the one weird irony thing with Bendis in his Superman run, despite the fact that many of the things and plot lines he did were terrible, apparently his portrayal of Superman as a voice character was actually pretty spot on. That he understood. The one thing he understood about Superman was writing Superman himself. What he made him do, what he made him cast, what the plots he put him on were all horrible, but at least he knew how to write the guy. You got to care for that.
Odd. Why you know when you cannot write other characters? I don't get.
His Leviathan crossover was
action comics.
Again, the opening of Leviathan was at least funny. I'll grant it you. By the way, I'll grant it you though. You could tell like Bendis set up the status quo so he could write it because the opening of Leviathan is, hey, I don't live with my wife, but I am going to be kind of pretending that Lois can't live with me for this story to work because then it'd be kind of weird they kidnapped me and not her. And then she's like going to wait and like, oh, it's kind of funny. And it's kind of funny watching Clark or have to freak out while have the kryptonite vest. That's funny. Granted, and you did this to yourself. How he gets out of it is stupid because basically Talia and Lois look just enough alike that no one in the highly trained thing notice. And we don't actually see her do that, mind you. It just happens off panel. But it's like, I think Bendis has gone the way of Frank Miller, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
He thinks he's Frank Miller, but worse than
from Marvel?
Wait, what did you say, 29?
He thinks he's Frank Miller, but he's worse than Frank
Miller. No. I think he's gone the way of Frank Miller.
Yeah.
You know, Frank Miller used to be good as John, then eventually went crazy, lost it, and just isn't good. I think Bendis hasn't gone crazy, but he's lost the touch.
Yeah.
If it's not something that he just knows how to do, he can't write it.
Yeah. Total deconstruction of the characters has done more damage to a number of characters in the comics. It doesn't matter if it's DC Comics, for example, where we're talking here, Marvel. Deconstruction has just become the opioid or the opium of the dumbest masses.
Spider-Man.
Everybody wants
to Spider-Man.
I'm going to take this character. I'm going to break him down to his lowest number. I'm going to explain to you what this guy's about. And I hope to God that I understand how the character works. Oh, I didn't. This whole story was nonsensical. My bad.
Okay, then rebuild him. No, I'm not going to rebuild him. He's your problem now.
Like, remember
you idiots?
All right.
Remember when Tom King said that Batman was his suicide note? Was Bruce Wayne's suicide note? Like, that's not how suicide works, Tom King. It's kind of way that you don't know that. But honestly, if you read Heroes in Crisis, I don't think Tom King understands how mental health issues work. I generally don't think he understands how they work. Because the entire concept of sanctuary is just not healthy at all.
Yeah.
If you think about it for
villain as supporting characters? Bullshit! His new villain sucks. That crowd? Who has that crowd? Nobody?
Okay.
It's me.
But anyway, yeah. So anyway, get back to the Bendis thing.
Well, there's 3 more to go.
Yeah. What's kind of sad is that, like, because of how Bendis is at DC, I don't think you could, because usually what they would just do is, okay, he's gone, get rid of it all. But they're keeping a lot of his status quos around, and it's like, why?
Why?
Like, why is Clark's identity still out? Why is John still an adult? Well, thanks to Tom Taylor, he might be stuck this way because you've made him a character representation. The only way you could really...
You can still retcon have existence. I don't give it out. That's retcon.
Yeah, granted, it would be way more interesting to watch John develop and learn that he's this way as a child. Like, maybe on one side you got Robin on the outside. You got a Wonder Girl. Like, I like them both. That'd be an interesting story to tell. I'm developing myself as a hero and as that, and I'm 14. That'd be interesting. Instead, at this point, what you could do, you might have a Wally Wallace West situation. Like, we just bring back the version that you liked and say the other guy is someone else.
Yep.
That's not bad. Yeah, I'm saying for years that can work.
He's from Earth 2. He's from
Earth
Earth 2.
3. He's from the crime syndicate. He's Ultraman's son.
He's another clone that Lex Luthor made him just to fuck with Clark. And like, I can't believe that you bought the Bendis stories. They were so stupid. I can't believe you believed all that stuff. I made some of that stuff off on the spot.
Wait, how you explain Mr. Hardy to Joel? How you explain that problem?
Like, that'd be funny. Or like, yeah, like, do
Jor-El
like,
showed up in the Oz Effect.
Man of Steel one.
Yeah, Jor-El.
But he also did show up again in the Man of Steel run. But
yeah, it's still bad. It made no sense.
It made it that Jor-El originally was revealed to be mind controlled at the end of that story. It wasn't his fault. I'm guessing Bendis didn't get that far on the wiki because he just like, Jor-El doesn't like Earth. Got it. He's going to take his kid away. I don't have to worry about him now, right?
Bullshit. It's talking about control them in the other fact.
Like, I know Bendis.
It was all done to get both
Lois and
John and Lois away from Clark.
That's what it was. And the
That's
sad part is, yeah, like, it was, and the thing is, it was painfully hard. It was like the one more day level event. It was like,
yeah,
Bendis couldn't be more transparent. And like Bendis' writing is very transparent. You can tell right away once you find out what he wants to do, like, oh, okay, yeah, you want to do this, and you don't really. And it's so and like, again, at the end of the story, they introduce Clark to the reason he has John leave is nonsensical altogether. Like, if you know Clark from previous stories, you know that like he was very overprotective of John. So was Lois. Why are you gung ho about this? That went out the window. But he's abandoned him 3 times anyway. But also, it's just like
in what was it? Legion of Superheroes. Bendis
Yeah,
tried to make
I didn't even read-
like a bit of a Hitler Nazi. Sorry. Are you,
Yeah.
Are you ignoring Damien's
I didn't read Legion, but from what I understand,
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't read Legion. Yeah, from what I understand, when he brought Robin into the future, Robin was out of character and kind of a bastard. And like, what should have happened was that John left with Robin, but instead, John just had to leave. And just like, but also, Bendis' portrayal of Damian Wayne is this petulant little child. He doesn't know who Damian Wayne is. He doesn't care.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if Bendis doesn't care, your character gets assassinated.
Not only that, he also made the superheroes of that future feel
assholes.
villains. Like,
really?
Villains. And yeah. When you read
I couldn't bring myself to read it. Like, what's funny is that like the reason I know that Bendis' stories aren't like super popular, one comment section. Granted, you can't go by comment sections these days, but still, it's because like Comic Historian, Comics Explain, Casually Cop, particularly Comics Historian and Comics Explain. Both of those guys, 3 millions of millions of subscribers. They post what is popular so that people will read it. The second, they were both big Bendis fans. The second the Bendis Superman run started, they stopped.
Oh
Same
yeah,
thing with and then it was kind of over. And no one, and like everyone seems to agree, aging John up was a mistake. But the longer John stays an adult, people are just like, I guess this is who he is now. Like, he's been an adult
Where you show anime series? Why? Why did he get all this play? It made no fucking sense.
Like, what was even the point of bringing him into the Legion of Superheroes? Oh yeah, you know that this is. I'm pretty sure that's what Bendis was trying to do. Like, get me I can do an adult animated Legion of Superhero series. No, you can't. Why? But go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like
issue 3.
Yeah, and clearly, there was a story here where did anybody read the Legion of Superhero run?
I read part of it. It broke me.
And it's like, this story is it's Bendis writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I remember. There was one frustrating panel I remember seeing where he was like, where Superman is holding up a bus and John's talking to him like, well, there's this girl, Well, because but what's funny is just like
Yeah, and
he says,
oh, that was in his
that
Superman
little
run.
kid, and,
The
yeah, and then there's this little kid at the bottom of the screen who says, "Superboy, you should team up with Robin. That's all you should ever do."
yeah,
And it's like, you son of a bitch.
yeah.
You son of a
He
bitch.
knew.
And like that. Yeah, it's just like when he had John return. He said, "Hey, don't freak out, okay?"
Yep.
Oh yeah, I found it. I
What
found
to
it.
do.
I found it.
Yep.
You see?
Yes.
Okay, Bendis, I'm gonna write for Kitty Pryde. I'm just gonna destroy her because I know how much you love her. In fact, I'll also. What does Naomi do when you finally decide what Naomi does? Okay, whatever it is that she's done, whatever it is that, like she does all the time that she's immune to, that's gonna be what destroys her.
Mm-hmm.
Solely because you don't care about other people's writing, I won't care about what you do. And like, it's petty, yes, but it's also just like, I've heard that there are writers who actually do that. Like, that's why a lot of Bendis characters either become more popular when he leaves. It's just like they treat him kind of. Oh, they treat his characters like, oh yeah, the Mr. Toys forced to interact with. Also, like some people say, like the reason John is much more mature now is because he was in space with Legion, and they're just like
shit.
No, and also like that's why John can speak other languages and knows how science works. And like, the soul thing, you know what? At least this guy kind of looks like John. And Son of Kal-El, he looks like everybody but John.
Yeah,
looks like Travis Moore and something.
At
least he looks like a teenager here. Granted, an old one, but still.
Not modern.
In Son of Kal-El, he looks like he's in his 30s.
Well, it's not modern.
You know,
he's great. You know, like John Kent, great. Alcohol Brady. That's.
Huh?
I forget his name.
So, 29.
Yeah, Monel.
Yeah, Monel.
That's Monel.
Oh yeah, Monel.
Apparently, he goes to John somehow, and then he leaves. Why?
Wow, that was a bad joke. Okay.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
That was a bad joke from Bendis. Okay. But still, like, wow, just so poorly. Yeah, and like clearly Bendis wants to use these things, but he doesn't bother to do the like. And you know what though, this has taught me something. If I ever get to become a comic book writer, and I'll say this right here, it's taught me one thing: do my research, learn what was happening, learn what fans liked, what did fans disliked, and what do I have to do to write the story. Don't just come in with my own idea and kick down the door and assume that I can make it work.
Yeah.
And that being said, and if Michael Bendis was recently writing it, well, you can ignore everything he does because he don't give two shits about anybody else's work.
Yeah, like all this book is crap, and he has sound go away dealing with mine. What?
Okay.
That makes no sense.
Well, what's the next thing, Talia?
Yeah, what she did to Damien is something that a villain would do.
What does she do? What does she do?
Number one, she in a way knocks him out.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well,
Okay,
it could
the
have
old
been
John
an
would have knocked me. The old John would have gotten emotional and not. Oh yeah, remember when John was emotional and like his powers were tied to that, and he like would react to things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, granted, Joshua Williams brought that back in Dark Crisis, where he's emotional.
But the great
now,
job.
but now it's kind of less.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
make that sense.
honestly.
We might as well start the move towards the end of this because we've almost been going for
We're going through
3 hours. So didn't expect it would go this long for maybe 2 hours.
But we are always at Ben's BS. Ben's
At least
so long there.
It's all right. It's all right. At least
Yeah.
we got to enjoy talking about some of the writers who've played a part in the destruction of these characters.
Yeah.
And why we think those writers have played a part in the destruction of those characters. So hopefully in the next upcoming week or two, maybe even 3 weeks, or maybe
When does that movie come out?
October 18th.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, in October. Maybe we can
Well,
do another one in
Let's all
October.
just- I guess maybe. Well,
Well,
let's just
I'm
hope
going
that
to
maybe
do a
the
comment
series
on
is good enough
that.
to
It's going to
resurrect the
premiere by
series.
that movie.
Let's just, you know what would be just hilarious? because the guy who wrote the movie is a Super Sons fan. Like,
Jeremy
knows the
Adams.
comedy.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, like,
Flash.
wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if that little independent movie was the reason that they brought him back in the comics? Like, it was successful, and that just sunk everything else. Like, you don't understand. There's a cartoon going on right now about this Super Sons thingy. We need to have Kid John back. Well, we kind of made him an adult. Undo it. I'm DC. I don't care.
Yep.
But we did all this work in making him this new guy. I don't care. Tear it down. He's a kid again.
Yep.
Because I didn't aged him up. I'm just like, I know, and like, or like, what I hope happens is that, like, now that Clark's back, John's gonna fade into irrelevance because, like, I don't know if you realize, like, he doesn't have a place anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's his job? What's the marketable thing that he does now? Because, like, Kara, I actually remember what Krypton was like, and, you know, girl, Connor, young adult, Superboy, half evil, half good, finding my place, Kenan Kong, Superman in China. Also, I wasn't the best person. I gotta make my mind like Clark's to make it work. Steel, I built my suit. Clark, everyone, and I will try to always at every time. I don't hold back all the time and whatnot because it's easier. What does John do? I'm my dad, and I go farther. How do you go farther than whatever? I'm my dad. Oh yeah, like, again, to say if Superboy Prime got a series, he'd be like, I'm Superman in power and look, and I think I'm a hero, but I'm not. And that'd be a fun concept to play with. But meanwhile, with John, what does John do now that Clark doesn't already do? That's why you had to take John away.
Yeah.
That's why you had to take Clark away for a while, because Clark doesn't do now, because you just made him Clark but younger.
Yep. So
hopefully John will be reset now, because eventually they'll be like, what are we doing with this kid? I don't know. There's not much that he's doing anymore. Once he finally starts being used, being the new It Boy, they'll probably will reset him because they'll realize, like, hey, something we can do with him now.
Well, a huge thanks to everyone who's made it to the live stream. So we might as well start to get ready to finish up.
All right.
As we start to approach the 3-hour mark. But before we go to the 3-hour mark, would you like to show your channel?
I'm Harry Writer, but there's like one video on there where I talk about my video's all messed up. It's really one video where it's a video essay, but honestly, I'm a screenwriter by trade.
Oh,
I want to be writer.
Nice. Congrats.
How long have you
I've been trying since the beginning of college. I'm currently 23, and it's just like I'm trying to become a writer. The screen all messed up.
That's awesome.
But like I could, on my day-to-day, I could write for DC Comics because I just like the characters so much. I don't like their current, but that's just life. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. But I'm also trying to write my own stuff. I'm currently auditioning. I'm trying to do a thing for Nickelodeon. They're doing this contest, this spot thing, like they're looking for new characters. I'm pitching a series. It's basically this rookie team of superheroes goes up against this grimdark superhero empire to save the city of Metropolis, which is like the capital of the world. Just like, hey, superheroes used to be fun. Can we go back to that? No.
So kind of like The Boys, kind of, sort of.
No, it's more like the Party Shakers are. Have you ever heard of a game called No Straight Roads?
No,
I don't think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's basically in that story. It's like there's a city ruled by music. There's an EDM empire, and like this rock duo challenges them by, like, after being rejected from an audition, goes around hijacking their concerts, and that's what the Party Shakers were doing. Is like basically like and basically the Party Shakers would like go to these heroes districts because each one is based on a different kind of concept. They would save the day in a more fantastical, theatrical way. They're led by their whole thing is like their powers are different to their personalities. They're led by a guy named Shadow Savior. He's shadow and dark powers, but he's got a theatrical, fun, and Deadpool's a ton of personality. But anyway, and the story actually would end in this little message about like being in your own bubble, because they take over the city, they take each district, and like in the last moment, it's just like, hey, how are you going to run the city? Do you have any plans for the people who work here? What about the people who actually like our heroes? Because not everyone agrees with you. And in the end, like there's a message about how like, don't get so caught up in your own bubble that you start to think that you think that you're the only one, that like the stage doesn't just belong to you. Like, because in all fairness, there are people out there who genuinely like Son of Kal-El, who think like who relate to, can see something in this John character. There are people who, there's probably somebody who liked what Bendis did. There are people who do like the things that we don't like, and like also social media is literally geared to only show, like on Twitter, it's only geared to show you the things that you like. If you
BS.
And like, so you can't, people will be having two different conversations because, so like, I'm pretty sure there are people, like, for example, you see people who are making fan art of this new John version. They're people who are like, John and Jay, they're my everything. Yay. Like, fair enough. But like, I like to believe that
Matt and Joy hate it.
Yeah. Maybe, who knows? Like, and on that story, I had a friend who was very much like, the new era's here. Superman is by now. Oh, yada, yada. She was all in on it. She wasn't a big comic book fan. She just heard about the news and like was talking about it. I told her the backstory and context for everything that happened. She got pissed. It was she got real pissed. This is some of the most corporate bullshit I ever seen. They just trying to. I hate it when they do this. Like, ruin the thing. Like, okay, I wouldn't say that. Like, okay. Like, some people get really disappointed when they find out what happened to John. Like,
yes,
he wasn't
pissed off at.
Like, so like, and like, yeah, you got to remember, in the world of comic books, like, some people, like, they just see the pictures, they don't know the story. Like, we're it's a very niche, and like, it's only getting niche. Like, I'm pretty sure more people know Jonathan Kent from the Superman and Lois TV show, which I hear is very good. Like, people probably know him just as much from there.
I'm slowly watching through that series, actually.
Apparently, it is like the best. It's basically what Henry Cavill should have been.
Yeah.
It's Superman family has done way. Even though Superman we wanted to get for years in 2018, we just put it on a show. We did the alternative.
Yeah.
So it's become Superman anime show.
Tragedy about Henry Cavill. So for a while, I just didn't think he could do it. I always like, he's more Superman.
I always admit he's a good Superman. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's hot. In his interviews, he has Superman vibe, and like, also, I watched him in The Witcher. He can play a hero.
Yeah,
just in Man of Steel, Zack Snyder was like, "This is real, and in reality, there are no good people." I'm like, "What are you doing, Bo?" Like,
technically, Goya wrote the script. Goya wrote the script of Man of Steel. That one's not a.
Well, in all fairness, like there are moments in Man of Steel where Clark's outfit looks like it's black, but the blue on his costume is black, and like that alone is just like, you did that on purpose. The scene where he's about to start flying, it looks like he's wearing a black costume. If you blink, if you look at it too quickly, it looks like an all-black suit.
Mm-hmm.
And like that scene in the end of his Justice League revamp, which, by the way, you give him credit for that. He's had 5 years. He spent, a decade or so looking, and he was reading the reviews, both online, what he did wrong. 5 years, infinite money, a fan base that spontaneously combusted overnight, that was just of loyal dogs who have never read a comic. Well, maybe they have read a comic, who knows. Just like, of course you are going to be successful. You got it all. You learned what to do. And also that moment where Superman's eyes are angry, evil red, and like he's wearing the black suit, and like that's Zack Snyder. That's what Zack Snyder wants.
I think that was amazing.
Well, yeah, but like I'm pretty sure that's what Zack Snyder wants Superman to be. That God from on high who's with the glowing death lasers. Because you notice wearing all the black, descending slowly. And like that's what he wants. That's cool.
Well,
that's Superman.
There's always Darkseid for that character.
Why do you think he had Superman become a savior of Darkseid? Why do you think? It's actually funny in the series. I made a character called Weatherman, who again they're each of the Hero Force elites that you got to fight. The heroes like fight in their episode. They're each a parody of a grimdark version of a Justice Leaguer. Because I don't have a lot of. Because I just keep
boys. The 7.
I just can't stop making my protagonist beat up the Justice League. I don't know why. It's the spirit OC fan thing I do. But anyway, in the story, when he arrives, he looks like, dark suit, angry god, big muscles. But in the end, that suit gets torn off. One, his personality is actually like a Superman. He's a genuinely nice person. And he's nice to the protagonist because he knows him. And in the end, he gets a more like Superman-y outfit. It's a sweater, a bright blue sweater, bright red boots,
Yeah.
belt, bright blue jeans. He looks like a hero, and he's wearing glasses. It's because it helps with his eyes. Just like, look at that. You look like an actual hero.
Well, I
Not
really
the-
hope things turn out really well for you with your screenwriting.
I do too.
So
I'm living on a prayer and in my parents' basement. So big dreams.
Yep.
Thanks for letting me talk your ears off.
no problems.
Anytime, man.
And you can be found. Is it the Wannabe Writer YouTube channel?
I don't even remember. I don't really make YouTube.
I
stuff, so
know
let me-
it. I
I
know I'm
think-
I know it
following.
now, though, so clearly I'm doing
I know
something
I am
right.
subscribed to it.
Oh yeah, it's wannabe writer with
Yeah.
a Y instead of an I.
Yeah,
Eh,
and I think
That's
that's
great.
really clever, actually. The way you've done that.
Yeah, I figured. Well, I figured it would just be like, want. Yeah, well, I want to be a writer.
Yeah.
So really clever with that. All right.
Thanks.
Nice. Oh, me?
Oh no, Tevia, and how do you pronounce your name?
Tehillim29.
Tehilin29. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
So I
You're
don't have to
welcome.
talk too much.
Really enjoyed having you on as well. And
Yeah.
don't forget,
Nice
we
talking
can.
to somebody about this kind of stuff.
It's nice to find other people that you've got similar interests to.
Yeah. And you guys aren't raging homophobes.
There we go. Yep. Just
That's
double
how we gotta do that now.
checking.
Well,
All right. Here is the link to his page.
Oh,
to Amari's.
right. Thanks.
So
Oh,
definitely check that out.
Oh, to Harlem, a bit of advice.
Yep.
Maybe you might want to put keep time of when we were talking about different numbers.
Yep,
It's
no
like-
problems. I'm sure I can fix it up afterwards anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's 3 hours. People are like, okay, what was number one? I'm curious, but
Yeah.
I also don't have 3 hours.
Mhm.
yeah, I can always
I
fix it up
understand.
afterwards. So
Yeah.
um,
All right. Well, nice
all
to
right,
talk to you guys.
nice.
Anytime,
and
man.
Thanks. You can also catch up with Tevye, and you want to let them know where you can be found, Tevye?
Yeah, you can follow me on YouTube, Devin Smoker, my page on Twitter, or go Google it, man. You can follow me on Twitter.tv, Devin Smoker. I may make a TikTok in the future. Keyword maybe be TikTok. I mean, it's got my hell. But if that don't expand my channel to do YouTube short for me, I'm gonna have to do the comments. Even though I'm not a fan of TikTok, because it's just, why do I need this? It's something stupid. But I'm gonna make my mentor. I want to expand my channel, but I don't want to expand YouTube now because YouTube is short now. Why? Wait, I don't. Yeah, I don't get it. YouTube's so broken these days. Despite something, I still might make YouTube this moment. I did do 2 videos today. One thing I came in today, I did do a video that took 41 minutes to make that video, and the second video I made with the Discovery stuff again. Because apparently I'm gonna buy Discovery. Great. Wonderful. Another merger. Why?
Yeah.
Even though they only got better by Discovery, why now she's going to sell Comcast? What the point is going merging? I don't understand. I know I don't follow the shit.
Yeah, it's probably something that we could talk about on another live
Yeah.
stream outside of this. But
Yep.
thank you, Tevye Smoker, for making it to this live stream as we got to talk on the top 5 writers who have played a part in ruining the Super Sons.
Super Sons.
And of course, you can find myself on this channel, to which I have things set up in relation to, say, playlists, to which one playlist covers everything else outside of the Super Sons. So all types of comic reviews, manga reviews, anime reviews. That's covered in the Rainbow Press and
Wow.
Comics. Then we've got the Joker's Wild, which moves into the area of slightly political. Can explore a little bit further where we don't normally cover in this or the Rainbow Press and Comics, and then there's the Super Sons Fortress of Attitude playlist, which covers practically all things Super Sons related. Do stay tuned for this upcoming week as there's more Super Sons content coming out on this countdown of the Super Sons coming out in October.
Yeah.
I won't let you know what will be coming out. I'll let you look forward to paying attention what comes out on the channel, and you'll see things go up as a bit of a premiere for this upcoming week. After the next comic hall related thing shows up on the channel, I'll be sure to set up the Super Sons related stuff to premiere that week so you can watch it and check it out for yourself.
Also, I'm going to the New York Comic Con this year.
Yep.
Yay.
And,
So,
oh yes,
I
yes, and let's not forget. Don't forget to pick up Batman and Superman Battle of Battle of the Super Sons. When
yeah. Hopefully that movie sells well. Maybe, just maybe, you send a message that we get Young Junkie back to normal.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Well, got a little hopes and prayers.
Yep.
Yep.
All right then. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you again at Super Sons Fortress of Attitude.
Yep. Bye.